My child, stop what you're doing. I have something urgent to say, and I won't repeat it twice. This message carries the weight of your next decision, the unlocking of buried answers, the confirmation your soul has been craving in silence. I didn't bring you here by accident. I summoned you. I drew you into this divine interruption because what I'm about to speak will confront every lie, expose every delay, and breathe fire back into the places you gave up on. You must not scroll away. Don't blink. Don't pause. Don't mute me now. Every second of this word is a piece of the instruction you've been waiting for. And the moment you break your attention, you break your alignment. If you leave early, you'll miss what I've reserved for the end. Stay with me. I'm about to shake you free. My beloved, do you feel it? That stillness pressing against the noise. That sudden hush in your soul that made you pause just long enough to wonder if something sacred was happening. That's not coincidence. That's me. I orchestrated this interruption with eternal intention. I have something urgent to say, and this isn't just another comforting phrase to ease your anxiety. This is an unveiling. This is heaven leaning low into your moment of hesitation to deliver what your spirit has longed to hear but didn't know how to articulate. I'm not speaking from afar. I'm right here. In your space. In your breath. In the ache behind your eyes and the quiet question lodged in your chest. You're not reading this by chance. You're not skimming across divine words hoping for something soft to land on. You were drawn here by the whisper that is louder than your fear, by the pull of my love that refused to stay silent any longer. I've seen how you've been moving through your days like a survivor, silently shouldering the weight of what you never meant to carry alone. I've watched you smile through tears, serve others while feeling invisible, and extend hope while doubting your own. You've done all you could to hold it together, but I'm not asking you to hold it anymore. I'm asking you to hear me now. Not with your ears alone, but with your entire being. With the broken pieces and the sacred dreams, with the disappointment you buried and the faith you're still trying to protect. Because I've come to speak to every part of you. Not just the polished surface, but the trembling places you've hidden from everyone else, even from yourself. I've come for your truth, not your performance. For your presence, not your perfection. And I need you to stay here, right here, because I'm not done. I've waited for this very breath, this very stillness, to say what can't be postponed another second. Stay with me, not for a moment, but for the unveiling. This moment is not empty. It's drenched in purpose. In the spirit realm, this is a hinge in your timeline. One of those rare divine intersections where what was written before you were born begins to meet the present with holy tension. The air around you is charged not with pressure, but with potential. I've dispatched angels already. I've opened scrolls that held your name in golden ink. I've summoned winds of change that will not return void. But before you move into any of that, before doors open or miracles manifest, I needed your attention. Not distracted, not double-minded, but surrendered. I didn't call you here to impress you with poetic words or grand promises. I summoned you because I have a holy agenda that begins with this sacred stop. The enemy hoped you'd scroll past this. He hoped your fatigue would numb you, that your routine would distract you. But my love broke through anyway. I entered your room, your day, your chaos, not with thunder but with divine intimacy. Because what I have to say next holds the weight of 1,000 answered prayers. You don't need to perform for me. You don't need to earn this moment. It's already yours. You were created with a spiritual receiver within you, a heart that was always designed to hear me when the world became too loud. And now, child, You've paused long enough for your spirit to tune back in. That ache inside of you. That's not restlessness. That's readiness. Your soul has grown hungry again for truth that can't be shaken, for words that don't change when the winds do. I see it. How weary you've become of shallow promises and fleeting inspiration. You want something eternal. Something real. Something that comes not from inspiration, but revelation. And that's what this is. A moment of divine clarity. A download from my heart to yours. One that bypasses logic and speaks directly into the cracks of your being. One that calls your name in a way no other voice can. So stay with me. Don't drift away. Don't diminish this moment. I've waited for the silence between your sighs, for the tear that finally dropped, for the heartbeat that whispered I can't do this alone anymore. Because I never wanted you to. What I have to say next carries more than comfort. It carries commission. And this is only the beginning. My beloved, lean in closer. What you're stepping into now is not an accident, not a coincidence, not a random detour. This moment, yes, this exact second of stillness, this divine pause you're experiencing right now, was carved into the scrolls of heaven long before your breath ever touched the air. Before the mountains were laid, before your name was whispered by your parents, I had already written this chapter in your book. I had already etched it into eternity's rhythm, like a crescendo waiting to be heard. That tug you feel deep in your spirit, the one that keeps whispering, something is shifting, that is not your imagination. It's your inheritance responding to my call. Because, child, I'm not whispering in this moment. I'm declaring. I'm not standing at a distance hoping you'll catch my hints. I'm right here, commanding every spiritual barrier to move, every shadow to flee, every light to dissolve. This moment has power because it is appointed. Not wait for, not stumbled upon. Appointed. A divine intersection where what was spoken over you before you had language is now colliding with the reality you're walking through. I chose this moment because your heart is finally ripe, soft enough to receive, strong enough to carry, surrendered enough to believe again. You've walked through valleys that looked like dead ends. You sat in rooms full of people but felt completely unseen. You've endured conversations where your voice felt swallowed by silence, where your dreams seemed too big to mention. But I heard every unspoken cry. I traced every tear you wipe away in secret. I followed every sigh that left your lungs when the weight stretched longer than your hope could hold. And I stored it all. I didn't let it fall to the ground. I used it to write the prelude to this very declaration. You are not forgotten. You were never off track. You are right where I meant for you to be. Let me tell you something only heaven knows. Every delay was a divine delay. Every redirection was my hand pulling you from counterfeit comfort toward authentic calling. The times you thought I was silent were actually the seasons I was shielding you. I didn't let the door open not because you weren't ready, but because what was behind it wasn't worthy of what I placed inside you. The rejection wasn't punishment. It was preservation. I've watched others question your timing, doubt your worth, measure your progress by worldly scales. But I never asked them to understand. I only asked you to trust. And you did. With trembling hands, tired faith, and a heart that had every reason to quit, you stayed. And that is why this moment holds such holy weight. Because I'm not just speaking over your life, I'm activating what hath been dormant. I'm resurrecting what pain tried to bury. I'm releasing what time tried to withhold. So don't treat this like inspiration. Don't scroll past this like it's another nice message. This isn't a suggestion. It's a summons. I'm declaring over you now that what's been echoing in your spirit is about to manifest in ways you couldn't even form words to request. The doors that didn't respond to your knocking before are about to swing wide open, not because you banged louder, but because the timing now matches the anointing. I am the God who declares, not just encourages. And when I declared atmosphere shift, angels are mobilized. Things that were out of alignment snap into divine order. And you, child, you are at the center of that shift. Because I never waste a declaration. I never speak without intention. And what I've said concerning you is now in motion. You are not a spectator in someone else's miracle. You are the intended recipient of a tailor-made breakthrough that's arriving not in fragments, but in fullness. So lift your eyes. Wipe your face. Let your heart stretch wide. Because I'm not done speaking. And what's coming next will carry my fingerprint so clearly that no one will be able to take credit. Not them. Not you. Not time. Only me. Because I wrote this moment into your story when everyone else thought the story had stalled. Stay with me. I'm just getting started. My precious child, I need you to know something that only I can truly tell you. You have been in a war, a brutal, spiritual, exhausting war, and you've been fighting it with silence as your only weapon. No one else knew the depth of the battle. They saw your smile, but I saw your storm. They heard your laughter, but I heard your midnight cries. They praised your strength, but I witnessed the nights you crumbled alone. You've been bleeding invisibly, carrying wounds that didn't show on your skin but carved deep through your soul. And I want you to hear me. I was there for every round. Every moment the enemy whispered, "You're forgotten." I countered it with my presence. Every lie that said, "This is your fault," I held back with truth. Every time you wanted to quit, not just the assignment, but yourself, I wrapped you in invisible arms and breathed endurance into your chest. You fought without applause. You stood when your legs shook. You chose me again and again when choosing comfort would have been easier. That's not weakness, child. That's worship. And heaven noticed. You need to understand that while you were silently surviving, I was building evidence in the unseen realm. I was recording your decisions, measuring your endurance, marking every yes you gave me in the darkness. Others may never know what it cost you to keep believing. They may never see the battles that left you breathless. But I saw, and I honored every second. Every time you said, "I trust you," while your world was falling apart, that echoed louder than 1,000 songs in my ears. Every time you chose to stay faithful when everything screamed to flee, that moved the heavens. I wasn't just watching. I was intervening, shielding, fighting, speaking your name in courts higher than earth could see. What I need you to understand now is this. The war you fought wasn't for nothing. It wasn't wasted. It wasn't in vain. The pressure wasn't just trying to cry you. It was trying to expose what couldn't be cried. Your faith has been tested by fire, and now it's been proven genuine. That's why this moment is so pivotal. Because I'm not just delivering relief. I'm delivering recognition. The kind of recognition that doesn't come with applause but comes with authority. You didn't beg for a crown, but I'm placing one on your head anyway. You didn't chase influence, but I'm enlarging your territory. Not because you demanded it, but because you endured for it. You stayed in the fight when others bowed out. You didn't take shortcuts. You didn't retaliate. You didn't collapse under the crying. And now, what was forged in secret will be honored in the open. So, stay with me. Let this moment sink deep. Let the balm of my voice begin to heal what war has wounded. I'm not rushing you past the pain. I'm redeeming every drop of it. I'm showing you that no suffering goes unseen by the one who bled first. And I promise you this: what is coming next will make sense of the silence, give purpose to the pain, and turn the very ground of your battle into the soil of your blessing. The war was real, but so is the reward. And child, I am still right here. My beloved, do you truly understand the weight of what you've been walking through? Not just the visible struggle, not just the financial hits or emotional betrayals, not just the dreams delayed or the prayers that went unanswered. I'm talking about the depth of the invisible, the inner refining, the sacred shaping, the midnight molding of your soul. You've been through what most wouldn't have survived. And I want to make it clear to you now, you weren't merely surviving. You were being trained, not punished, not pushed aside, prepared. You were enrolled in a holy curriculum authored by my own hand, not because you were weak, but because you were chosen. You see, the fire didn't come to burn you. It came to reveal you. The crushing didn't come to destroy you. It came to extract the oil. I wasn't distant while you endured. I was watching every moment with divine precision, measuring your capacity and whispering strength into the marrow of your being when the weight nearly broke you. You thought you were forgotten, but in truth, you were being fortified. In every quiet sacrifice, in every tear-soaked pillow, in every day you got up with heavy feet and still chose to worship me, you were being sculpted into someone the enemy would fear and heaven would honor. You were not overlooked. You were overhauled. Your roots were growing deeper while others bloomed in shallow soil. And now, what I have prepared, what I have stored in the vaults of divine timing, is ready to be released. Not in part, in full. I held it back not to withhold but to protect. What I've stored up for you isn't light. It's weighty with legacy, laced with divine strategy, dripping with purpose too precious to place in unsteady hands. But now your hands have been proven steady through pain. Now your heart has been purified through pressure. Now your spirit is tender enough to carry glory without arrogance, and powerful enough to walk into rooms without shrinking. Child, you've passed the unseen tests. You've stayed when it would have been easier to run. You've knelt when pride tempted you to perform. You've worshipped when your words felt brittle and your prayers fell back in echoes. You have endured divine training, and heaven is responding. The scroll of release has been opened, and your name is written on it in ink only I can use. And listen to me. What I'm about to pour out will not resemble the seed you sowed. It will exceed it. Pressed down, shaken together, running over, not just with material gain, but with heavenly weight, of wisdom, with discernment, with peace that isn't circumstantial, and joy that doesn't evaporate under pressure. I'm releasing something customized, something holy, something that carries not just blessing, but identity. Because I didn't just prepare a gift, I prepared you to carry it. And now, nothing can stop what I have placed in motion. Not the lies, not the delays, not the warfare. Because divine training has brought divine promotion. And you're no longer standing in survival. You're stepping in supernatural succession. So stay close, stay grounded, and prepare, not for more battle, but for breakthrough. Because what's coming will bear my name, not your effort. This is me rewarding not your strength, but your surrender. Child, the season of surviving in silence is over. The waiting room is now a war room. The whispers you've endured, the trials you faced, the stretching that nearly tore your soul apart, all of it has been a setup for ascending. You thought I came to console you, but I'm here to commission you. This word isn't a blanket to tuck you in. It's a trumpet to wake you up. Because what I'm placing upon you now isn't just healing. It's holy fire. Dismantle mission movement. I'm not here to soothe you into passivity. I'm here to summon you into power. You didn't cry all those tears for nothing. You didn't war in the dark to return to comfort. No. I allowed the breaking to build you. And now, I'm placing the scroll in your hands. And with it, a mandate that will shift everything. You are being deployed. Not as the person others saw, but as the person I form. And your steps from this point forward will not be random. They will be commissioned. Your words will not be casual. They will carry weight. This is the moment where posture becomes purpose. I'm not assigning you another season of waiting. I'm unlocking your assignment. Yes, you. The one who doubted. The one who cried alone. The one who kept going while feeling completely unseen. You are the one I'm calling. The one I've equipped in silence. The one I've marked in secret. This is not a call you can delegate. This is not a mission you can outsource. You were born for this. You were built for this. And the urgency you feel in your bones is not anxiety. It's alignment. It's your spirit hearing the sound of heaven calling your name. I've already gone ahead of you. I've already cleared the path. I've already placed connections, provisions, and confirmations in the soil beneath your feet. And you won't have to strive for recognition. You'll simply have to walk in obedience. Because I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for positioning. Stand in what I've given you. Speak what I pour into you. Move with holy precision. Don't water it down for the comfort of those who never saw your cost. You don't owe them explanation. You owe me your obedience. And I promise you, what you will see as you obey will shatter ceilings and break generational curses. Because this isn't just a blessing. It's a breakthrough that will echo beyond your lifetime. So hear me again. This is a commission. This is the sending. This is me saying, you are ready. Don't second guess your anointing. Don't measure yourself by the opinions of others. Don't shrink to fit their small expectations. I didn't train you in the shadows just to let you fade into the background. I raised you in fire so you can carry fire. And now, that fire is falling, not just on you, but through you. Through your voice, your hands, your presence. You will walk into rooms and atmospheres will shift. You will speak and hearts will melt. Not because of you, but because I have commissioned you. And I always complete what I begin. Stay with me. I'm not finished yet. Beloved, let's talk about the fire. That relentless, holy fire that found you not once, not twice, but time and time again. Pressing, purifying, proving. You cried out in the middle of it, why is this happening to me? And I heard every word. But hear me now. The fire wasn't sent to finish you. It was sent to find you. To locate what was eternal inside of you. Because the enemy thought you'd vanish in the flames. But instead, your faith serviced. You didn't just survive the fire, you shined inside it. You didn't just make it through the heat. You were refined by it. And now, the residue of what was burned off is being replaced by the radiance of what endured. When you looked around and saw no one standing with you, when everything you leaned on crumbled under pressure, when even your own strength betrayed you, your faith remained. Quiet, fragile, trembling, but it was there. And what remained is what I am building upon now. The world looks at the ashes and assumes loss. But I look at your posture in the flames and declare, that is the gold I was after. Your faith was never fragile. It was fierce beneath the surface. And now, What you endured in fire will become the foundation for miracles that burn brighter than the lies that tried to snuff you out. Others may have doubted, but child, I knew what I placed inside of you. Let me be clear. You are not emerging from this fire empty-handed. No, you're stepping out with evidence. Evidence that proves your worship wasn't performative, that your prayers weren't just words, that your love for me wasn't based on circumstances. You held on when you could have cursed me. You leaned in when the flames licked at your feet. And because of that, listen carefully. I am now releasing an anointing that can only come from fire. It's not lightweight. It's not theoretical. It's not for show. It's authority, real, tested, branded with the blood kind of authority. You will speak and chains will break. You will enter rooms and strongholds will shake. Not because of charisma, not because of strategy, but because you bear the fragrance of fire and the power of perseverance. And do you want to know something else, child? The fire marked you, not as one who was punished, but as one who was preserved. Others looked at the trial and assumed you were forgotten. But I was standing with you in the flames. Just like I stood with the 3 Hebrew boys, untouched by the heat that surrounded them, I stood with you, shielding, guiding, shaping. And now, what you carry will be unmistakable. Not 1 ounce of pain will be wasted. Not 1 hour of sorrow will go unredeemed. You passed through fire, and what remained is glory. Stay with me, beloved. The unveiling has only just begun. The waiting room, that holy hallway where time stretches and answers hide, where prayers echo without response and silence screams louder than your thoughts. You've lived there longer than you expected, haven't you? You've paced that invisible corridor asking, did you forget me? Did you change your mind? And I saw you, not just your footsteps but your heartbeats. I saw how the delay bruised your hope and how the unanswered questions tried to dig holes in your trust. But child, listen to me now. The delay was not a denial. It was a design, one rooted in wisdom far beyond your understanding. I wasn't punishing you by making you wait. I was positioning you. Every not yet was a divine setup, a layer added to the foundation of what I'm about to build. Do you think I'd give you a palace with no pillars? A destiny without depth? No, child, the delay was your training ground. While you waited, I was weeding out what couldn't go with you. While you stood still, I was securing the soil beneath your feet. I saw how others ran ahead. I saw how doors opened for them while you sat with your hands open, wondering if you were forgotten. But what you didn't see was how I was fortifying you for weight they could never carry. What took them weeks, I've been building in you for generations. Yes, I could have answered you quickly, but quick answers create shallow roots. And what I've planted in you was never meant to sprout fast and fail, it was meant to last. So I slowed it down. I delayed the visible so I could deepen the invisible. And now, that foundation you thought was frustration is fortification. Your timeline wasn't broken. It was being beautified. I was preparing hearts, clearing atmospheres, lining people, dismantling traps you didn't know were set, and all while you waited faithfully. That's why you will step into what's next with such precision. That's why doors will open without struggle. That's why the rooms you're about to walk into will feel like home, because I built them with you in mind from the very beginning. So, hear me now. The wait is over. But more importantly, the waste never existed. Not a moment was meaningless. Not a tear was ignored. You thought you were being delayed, but you were being developed. You thought I was distant, but I was detailed. And now, everything is in place. The blueprint has been approved. The season has shifted. You're about to see that I never denied you. I simply loved you too much to give you something before you were ready to carry it with grace and govern it with wisdom. And when you walk into what's next, you'll know it wasn't luck. It was legacy. And you'll say with clarity, the wait was worth it. Child, lean into this moment. Let every wall around your heart soften as I speak this truth you've longed to hear but feared wasn't yours. Nothing that belongs to you has been lost. I know how the years made you doubt. I know how the silence twisted into shame. I know how you've looked around and seen others celebrated while your prayers felt unanswered, your hopes folded up and hidden like unfinished letters never mailed. But I need you to know, with holy certainty, that the very thing you thought you missed was never misplaced. It was reserved. Yes, reserved, not removed. Sealed in my vault, untouched by time, preserved in purity. Not tarnished by your delays, not diminished by your past, not diluted by your doubts. You see, I don't deal in scraps. I don't hand out leftovers. I am not bound by the rush of men or the clamor of culture. I move in divine choreography. And what I ordained for you, the breakthrough, the calling, the relationship, the opportunity, the elevation, was not just held for the right time, it was guarded. I placed angels around it. I veiled it in mystery. I wrapped it in layers of silence, not to confuse you, but to protect it from the hands of those who would have mishandled what only you were graced to carry. I watched how your heart ached when doors closed. I saw you question yourself when others received what you were still believing for. And in that secret ache, I was near, whispering, "Not yet, child," because I'm saving something better. Better than the version you imagined. Better than the timing you calculated. Better than the plan you once begged me to bless. I wasn't being cruel in the delay. I was being careful. Because this isn't just a blessing. It's a baton. A divine inheritance that carries legacy. It had to wait for this very second. This exact breath. When your spirit was finally strong enough, healed enough, humbled enough to carry it without crumbling under its glory. And here's what I want you to understand. Now that it's been unlocked, nothing can stop it. No voice can veto it. No demon can delay it. No human can hijack it. What I am releasing into your life now carries my signature, my sovereignty, my seal. That opportunity that slipped through your fingers, if it was meant for you, it's circling back. That desire you thought was denied, it's being refined into fulfillment. That closed door wasn't the final answer. It was the opening act of something sacred. And this time, when it comes, it will arrive with striving. It will arrive with certainty. No begging, no bargaining. Just a holy knowing that this was what I had hidden for you all along. So don't mourn what was never meant to be permanent. Don't idolize what I removed to make space. Don't chase what couldn't contain your destiny. Look up. Open wide. This isn't just restoration. This is revelation. What was once sealed is now being delivered. And it's not late. It's right on time. I didn't just save it for you. I shipped it for you. The release has already begun. Beloved, listen carefully. I don't say this lightly. I don't speak in riddles when clarity is required. What I am revealing to you now is not poetic metaphor. It is prophetic reality. Your name have been whispered in the strategy rooms of heaven. Not once. Not occasionally. Repeatedly. Reverently. Consistently. Your name, spoken by angels, echoed through halls where blueprints are born, where destinies are crafted, where timelines are aligned. While you questioned your place on earth, heaven was confirming your purpose in eternal chambers. You thought you were forgotten, but all of creation was leaning into the sound of your surrender. You may not know this, but every yes you gave me, every act of obedience, every decision to believe me in the dark, was documented. And those records weren't filed away in dusty corners. They were inscribed onto scrolls. Scrolls written in glory. Scrolls sealed in grace. Scrolls that have now been opened before the councils of light. Read line by line, as my divine plan for your life unfolds in real time. The very moment you're living now has already been read aloud, and heaven is responding with acceleration, with alignment, with angelic assistance that doesn't just visit, it establishes. Child, do you realize how sacred this moment is? This isn't just the turning of a page, this is the unveiling of a chapter long awaited. This is not motivational hype. This is manifestation. The weight of your wilderness has given way to the wonder of what I've written. And what I've written, no hand can erase. The battles that nearly broke you, they became ink in the margin of your scroll, testifying to your endurance. The tears you wept in silence, they became signatures of authenticity, proof that you were forged in fire, not fantasy. And now, that scroll, your scroll, is being carried out by angels as instructions, as assignments, as declarations to the atmosphere around you. Even the earth is groaning in agreement with what I've spoken over your life. You are not stepping into random blessings. You are walking into orchestrated orders. Each conversation, each open door, each unexpected moment of favor, none of it is luck. It is the scroll being read into motion. And while others may be confused by the speed of what begins to shift for you, you will not be surprised, because your spirit already knows that it heard me read it first. That moment when your breath caught in your chest for no reason. A dream that felt too vivid to ignore. That stirring that made no sense in the natural. Those were echoes of the scroll being declared in heavenly places. So walk with confidence now. Not arrogance, not self-made pride, but holy assurance. Because you're not moving blindly, you're walking in alignment. And as you do, I will confirm the scrolls with signs. Not shallow signs that impress man, but divine signs that shake your soul. Stay alert. Stay yielded. The reading has begun, and you are no longer waiting for your turn. You are walking in it. I am not just speaking over you. I'm establishing through you. I need you to open your spirit wide, because what I'm bringing to you in this hour is not light. It is not sight. It is not subtle. This is not the season of soft whispers and barely their answers. This is the hour of supernatural redirection, of radical reversals, of irreversible release. You have waded through the trickle. Now you are about to stand in the flood. You have lingered in the hallway of almost. Now the door is not only opening, it's coming off its hinges. I am not just giving you something to encourage you for a day. I am shifting the course of your life with my hand, and the shift cannot be stopped. Yes, I know what you've walked through. You've had seasons where the blessings felt muted, where the joy came in flickers, where the peace felt conditional and temporary. You endured seasons where you saw just enough to stay hopeful, but not enough to feel safe. But now, listen carefully. I am releasing what cannot be reversed. I am not placing you back where you left off. I am advancing you past every delay, past every detour, past every dead end. You see, this is not a restart. This is a redirection. A divine rerouting based on the blueprint I wrote for you before pain ever tried to edit your path. And this redirection will not feel like confusion. It will feel like clarity. Like home. Like finally. When I say radical reversals, I mean what others declared dead will rise. I mean what they said would never happen is about to be the very thing that breaks forth without warning. The job you lost, watch what I return. The opportunity that slipped away, watch how I replace it with more than you asked. The relationships that collapsed, watch how I restore not just connection but confidence. You've been mourning what I planned to reverse all along. And now, I am moving with precision, not to patch things up, but to make all things new. The enemy called it a loss. I call it a launch. What you thought was the end of the story was simply the moment I picked up the pen myself. And now, the irreversible release is here. Not because you've been perfect, not because you forced the breakthrough, but because I've deemed the time as now. What I release to you in this season cannot be undone. It will need man's permission. It will require explanation, and it will not return void. You'll see it in your finances, your health, your family, your dreams, the ripple effect of my hand releasing what has been held back. And no devil in hell can reach up and stop what I have now unleashed. You are walking into a yes that overrides every no. You are stepping into a now that erases every not yet. And it will not be reversed, revoked, or routed. It's coming to stay. Because this is my doing. And it is marvelous in your eyes. I need you to hear me with both ears and with your heart wide open. Don't look back. Not even for clarity. Not even for closure. Not even to try and make sense of what I've already called finished. Because what I'm doing in you now is too holy to be compared to what hurt you then. You see, I know how tempting it is to glance over your shoulder, to revisit the ruins, to trace the timeline and ask, what went wrong? But child, when I close a door, I don't call you to mourn at its frame. I call you to follow my voice into what's next. Because understanding is not a prerequisite for receiving. And looking back will only blur the beauty of what's unfolding in front of you. I didn't ask you to solve the past. I asked you to step into the present. To be ready. And readiness doesn't require full comprehension. It requires full surrender. What's coming next will not look like what came before. It won't feel familiar. It won't fit the mold of your previous experiences. That's why I need your eyes forward, your faith fresh, your posture open. Because if you keep dissecting what I've already removed, you'll miss the miracle that's walking straight toward you. I'm not revisiting old chapters. I'm releasing new ones. And they don't need the approval of your memory. They just need the agreement of your obedience. Let me put it plainly, what's ahead of you is greater than what you're trying to make sense of behind you. The doors I'm opening require your hands to be free, not full of regrets. The people I'm sending into your life need the healed version of you, not the haunted one. And the anointing I've placed on your life can't function under the weight of what I've already told you to release. Don't you know, child, that even Lot's wife lost what she had because she looked back? I'm not leading you forward so you can return emotionally to places that nearly broke you. I'm not calling you into destiny so you can keep replaying disappointment. Let it go. Not because it wasn't painful, but because you're not who you were when it happened. You are ready now. Not because everything makes sense, but because you chose to trust me in what didn't. You are ready now because you stayed, even when staying cost you clarity. You are ready now because you didn't go back when going back was easier than standing still. So I'm telling you one last time, don't look back. The healing is ahead. The promise is ahead. The purpose is ahead. I've already gone before you, and what I've prepared doesn't need your hindsight. It needs your yes. Look forward. Move forward. And watch how everything I've prepared begins to meet you in motion. This is not just transition. This is transformation. And it begins the moment you stop staring at what was and start believing in what still can be. I saw it all, every tear that slid down your face when no one was looking, every silent scream you tucked beneath your smile, every moment your heart quivered under the weight of holding it all together. You didn't need to say a word. Your ache was loud in my ears, and not one sigh was wasted. I was there, not as a spectator, but as the one gathering every fragment, storing every emotion, catching every tear in my bottle. You thought your suffering was unseen, but in my kingdom, every groan carries eternal weight. You didn't cry into a void. You cried into my hands. You see, while you were breaking, I was building. You didn't see it at the time. How could you? The pain was so loud, the darkness so thick. But even then, especially then, I was working behind the veil. You were looking for immediate answers, but I was laying eternal foundations. You were asking for relief, but I was preparing a revelation. You think I would let my beloved bleed for no reason. And oh, child, everything you walked through, I've been redeeming. Even the moments that felt like failure, I was shaping them into future strength. Even the wounds that felt fatal, I've been weaving them into your warfare strategy. You've cried over what you didn't understand, but I was orchestrating what your eyes couldn't yet see. I know you thought I was silent. I know you begged me for a sign and got stillness instead. I know how confusing that felt, how cruel it seemed. But my silence wasn't absence. It was activation. In that silence, I was drawing out your resilience. I was purifying your dependence. I was deepening your discernment. While others ran ahead, I was building you up in secret. While the world moved on, I stood beside you, anchoring your spirit in me alone. And now, child, now the construction season is ending. The blueprint I wrote in tears is becoming a tower of testimony. What was once a burden is becoming a banner. What you thought was the end of you, I'm using to launch the next phase of you. You've sown with tears, and you will reap in joy. You've prayed without seeing, and now you will walk in what you only dared to believe. But never forget this. I was never distant. I was never deaf. I was detailed. Every second of your suffering was measured. Every piece of your pain was noted. And now, nothing will be wasted. I'm building something beautiful from the very ashes of your agony. So let go of the fear that I was absent. I was the closest I've ever been. And what I've built in the background is about to be revealed in the light. As you stayed with me this far not by chance, but because your spirit recognized the urgency of this moment. Now, I invite you to sow into what is awakening hearts all over the world. Every seed you release, through super thanks, membership, where the link below, becomes oil for someone else's lamp, bread for the hungry, light for a soul still in darkness. As I said in Isaiah 55:11, my word will not return to me void, and when you partner with me, you become a carrier of that word. The same voice that called you out is ready to call others, and you can be part of their rescue. I do not need what you give, but I bless what you give, and I multiply it. When you give into good ground, I pour out pressed down, shaken together, running over. So respond now, support what I'm doing here and watch how I support you. Tonight, heaven is leaning low. Not because of a performance, not because of perfection, but because of one quiet, trembling, faithful yes. That whisper you gave me when no one else was watching, I heard it like thunder in the heavens. You thought it was small. You thought it was too late. You thought your past disqualified your present surrender. But child, let me say this with eternal clarity. Your obedience is speaking louder than your past. Every yes you've given me in private is now echoing across realms. It's not just changing your life. It's activating the divine timeline I've prepared for you all along. You see, I don't measure faithfulness the way man does. I don't need applause to recognize obedience. I don't need platforms to validate purpose. While others seek visibility, I've been searching for vulnerability. And that's what you gave me. In your weakness, you offered surrender. In your fear, you offered faith. In your pain, you still whispered, "Yes, Lord." And that, child, that is the sound that moves me. That is what stirs angelic movement. That is what opens scrolls and shifts the seasons. Not the noise of the crowd, but the cry of one heart who chose me above comfort. It hurt. You hurt. Has stood heaven tonight. And now, the rewards of that obedience are beginning to unfold. Not because you earned them, but because you aligned yourself with them. When you said yes in the secret place, the entire spiritual landscape around you shifted. Barriers began to break. Chains began to loosen. Generational strongholds began to crumble. You don't even know how powerful your yes has been, but you're about to see the ripple effect. In your family, in your finances, in your calling. What seemed like a small decision has created a seismic wave in the spirit. Because obedience isn't about doing what's easy, it's about doing what's eternal. And that's what you've done. So don't diminish what's happened tonight. This is not a normal night. This is not an ordinary yes. This is the kind of obedience that rewrites legacy. The kind that silences the accusations of the enemy and shouts, "I am still chosen." You are not disqualified. You are not late. You are in position. And the yes you gave me, through the shaking, through the sorrow, through the silence, that yes has been sealed in heaven. And now, the release begins. Watch how quickly things begin to shift. Watch how suddenly things align. Not because you forced them, but because you simply said, "I trust you anyway." That trust is your key. That obedience is your open door. And I'm already on the other side, saying, "Well done, child. Let's go forward now, together." My beloved, I know what you've been thinking. The internal voice that keeps echoing, "I missed it. I messed it up. Maybe I was never meant for it." That quiet lie that wraps itself around your past decisions like a chain, heavy, haunting, convincing. But let me speak now, and let this truth override every accusation that's tried to define you. You did not disqualify yourself. In fact, because of what you've walked through, because of what broke you and didn't bury you, you are now more qualified than ever. You see, I don't use perfect people. I use surrendered ones. And brokenness, real, raw, honest brokenness, it's not a disqualifier in my kingdom. It's a credential. It's a sign that you've lived, that you've loved, that you've leaned on me when everything else fell away. Do you think I didn't know the choices you make? Do you think I didn't see the valleys you'd walk through? Some by force, some by your own hand. I knew it all. Every misstep, every detour, every dark night when your soul felt far from me. And still, I called you. Still, I wrote your name into the fabric of my plans. Because I wasn't banking on your perfection. I was building on your return. You came back. Wounded maybe. Worn down. Yes. But you came back. You didn't run forever. You turned your face toward me and whispered, "I'm sorry. I still want you." And child, that whisper shook heaven. The turning wasn't weakness, it was warfare. And you won. You came back not with arrogance, but with reverence. not to oppress me but to need me. And I can do so much with a heart like that. You now carry something that the unbroken don't understand: dependence. You've learned how to move with me not as a religious formality, but as your lifeline. You know what it means to pray not for show, but for survival. You sat in the silence long enough to know how to recognize my whisper. You've wept enough to become fluent in mercy. And because of this, because of the breaking, you are ready to carry weight. Not the weight of performance, but the weight of glory. You'll minister from a place that doesn't fake strength but reveals scars. And that's what sets captives free, not polished speeches but pierced hearts. You are no longer just a recipient of grace. You are now a carrier of it. Grace leaks through your cracks, and I've anointed every fracture with purpose. So release the guilt. Let go of the inner courtroom that keeps trying to relitigate what I already forgave. I'm not holding it over your head. I buried it under blood. And now I'm calling you to rise. To stop treating your story like a disqualification and start seeing it for what it truly is, a qualification sealed by redemption. You are ready now. Not in spite of your past, but because of it. And every time you testify, every time you love from a place of understanding, every time you refuse to judge what you once were, you become my voice to someone else still trying to find their way back home. You didn't disqualify yourself, child. You were afforded for this. There's something sacred I need to touch now. You've let me into so many places. You've opened your heart, your mind, your plans, your dreams. You've trusted me with your future and your failures. But there's still a room in you, a hidden chamber where the light hasn't reached. Not because you're rebellious, but because the pain there was so deep, so disorienting, so old that you forgot how to name it. You buried it beneath survival. You learned to function while bleeding. You became so good at carrying it that you forgot it was never meant to be yours to bear. But I didn't forget. I never lost track of the wound. And now, in this very moment, I'm placing my hand on that place. I know how scary this feels, to let me into a part of your heart that's been locked up for years. You wondered if healing was possible. You've even convinced yourself that maybe you were okay. But the truth is, child, I've watched the way that pain shaped your reactions. I've seen how it made you suspicious of joy, how it made you flinch when love got too close. I've seen the invisible walls you built, the ones no one else notices because you smile so well. But I see them, and I'm not coming to tear them down in rage. I'm coming with tenderness, with precision. I'm not rushing this healing. I'm committed to it. That trauma you buried, I remember it. That moment you said, "I'm fine," while dying inside, I held you through it. The abandonment, the rejection, the betrayal that left you feeling small and unseen. I was present for all of it. And now, I'm redeeming what shame tried to silence. You will not live the rest of your life managing pain that I died to heal. You will not fake wholeness while your soul limps. You will not go through another year acting like that part doesn't affect you. Because, child, I love you too much to leave you partially healed. What I start, I finish. And I'm not just here for your purpose. I'm here for your personhood. The little boy, the little girl inside you who stopped believing they were worth rescuing. I'm coming for them too. So breathe. You're not alone in this. The healing won't hurt like the trauma did. I'm not reopening wounds. I'm removing them. I'm going deep, but I'm not going to break you. I'm going to bless you. And when I'm done, you'll move differently. Love differently. Believe differently. You'll no longer over-explain, overthink, or over-apologize. You'll walk like someone who's whole, because I am the God who restores the soul, not just the success. So let me in. Let me go where no one else has gone. I'm not afraid of the darkness inside you. I'm already there. And child, I'm turning on the light. I need you to hear this in the deepest part of your soul. They saw fragments, but I formed fullness. I saw your faults. I saw your formation. People made assumptions based on snapshots, a moment of weakness, a season of silence, a chapter they walked in on without knowing the war you'd already survived. They dismissed what they didn't understand. They misjudged what they weren't graced to carry. But child, I never needed their agreement to fulfill my promise. I've been developing you in the shadows, preparing you in the silence, anointing you in obscurity. And now is the moment where what I hid is about to be revealed. Not for applause, but for alignment. Not for validation, but for vindication. You see, while they doubted, I documented. I wrote every moment down. Every time you chose integrity over convenience. Every time you said yes to me even when no one clapped. Every time you served without spotlight, gave without guarantee, loved without being loved in return, I saw it. I celebrated it. I sealed it. And now, I'm about to show it. Not because you need to prove anything, but because what I placed inside of you has matured. The seed has become strength. The whisper has become a weapon. The anointing has gained authority. And I'm no longer just letting you carry it in secret. I'm commissioning it into sight. This isn't about revenge. This is about revelation. I'm not moving on your behalf to shame those who left. I'm moving to showcase my glory through your life. Your story is about to speak louder than your defense ever could. Your consistency is about to echo louder than their critique. I didn't raise you in private so you could prove yourself. I raised you in private so you'd know me, not rely on the crowd. And now, because you know me, I can trust you to walk into what's next without letting pride poison the promise. I'm about to publicly confirm what you and I cultivated in midnight conversations and tear-soaked prayers. They'll see it, but you will know the cost. So get ready. Don't shrink. Don't apologize for the oil. Don't second-guess the sudden favor. It's not random. It's not hype. It's harvest. You stayed faithful when it would have been easier to fade away. And now I'm doing what I've always promised. I'm lifting the humble, exalting the obedient, and glorifying my name through lives that look nothing like what the world expected. They underestimated what I placed inside you, but I didn't. And now, I'm opening doors that can't be shut. Not because you pushed for them, but because you were patient enough to wait for them. What's happening inside of you right now may feel strange, even disorienting. You don't quite recognize yourself. You're dreaming differently. You're responding with new peace. You're walking with a posture you didn't rehearse, one born not from striving but from refining. This isn't just restoration. It's reintroduction. I'm not taking you back to who you were. I'm unveiling who you were always meant to become. The version of you that's emerging, confident but humble, fierce yet gentle, wise and deeply rooted. That version had been hidden in me all along. The pain didn't create this version of you. It unlocked it. The trials didn't destroy you. They peeled back the layers that never fit in the first place. You were always more than what people saw. More than the labels. More than the limitations. More than the titles they gave or took away. I saw this version of you long before anyone ever gave you permission to believe in it. I formed it in the secret place. I whispered it into your bones before you were born. And now, finally, You're catching up with who I've known you to be all along. This is not a brand new you. This is the true you. You've been surviving on fragments. Now I'm reintroducing you to the fullness. You thought you were broken beyond repair, but I was never intimidated by your shatterings. I'm the potter who doesn't just patch the pieces, I reshape them into something unrecognizable to shame and unreachable by fear. This emerging version of you will carry conversations differently. You'll enter spaces you used to feel too small for and realize they were waiting for your arrival. You'll dream again, but this time from the healed place, not the hustling place. You'll lead, not with ego, but with empathy. You'll walk, not with anxiety, but with authority born from intimacy. I'm not upbraiding you. I'm unveiling you. So as you feel the shift, don't resist it. You're not losing who you were. You're shedding who you never were. You're not abandoning your past. You're walking into the proof that I was with you through all of it, carving, healing, building, anchoring. Let people say what they will. Let old labels fall off. Let outdated roles dissolve. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your transformation. What I'm doing now will speak for itself. You are not just being restored. You are being reintroduced. And this version of you, this powerful, whole, soft, strong, spirit-led version, is going to change everything. You've only just begun to see what's been hiding inside you all this time. My child, feel how your bones remember the pressure, the pushing, the squeezing moments when your spirit thought it might burst under the weight of demand. I've seen that pressure, every crack, every fear, every pulse in your chest that said, I can't breathe under this. Yet do you know what that pressure was not? It was not punishment. It was not a curse. It was my refining, as healthy, affording of something resilient, something strong, something sacred. Every moment you gasped under pressure was a moment my hands were shaping proof. Proof that you are being formed for something far greater than any comfort zone you ever thought safe. You thought comfort meant peace. But peace without growth is hollow. You thought escape from struggle meant absence of purpose. But struggle, though painful, reveals what comfort never can. What lies within you. In the pressure, your faith hardened. In the pressure, your identity shone through the cracks. In the pressure, your eyes were fixed on me, learning strength not through ease but through endurance. I did send hardship to harm you. I sent refinement to reveal you. And I can no longer withhold what that formation has fully matured. The pressure measured not your breaking point. It marked your breakthrough point. Think, does gold shine without fire? Does diamond become diamond without pressure? Exactly. What you believed would shatter you was the very furnace where your value was being recognized. You felt crushed, but that was the sheath being stripped off. You felt exposed, but that was the moment you became transparent vessels for my power. You felt weak, but inside, something indestructible was being birthed. And now, you are ready. Not just to survive pressure, but to walk into the purpose that couldn't have been carried without it. The part of you that quivered when everything was uncertain, that part is now capable of quiet confidence, because it has stood the test. So do not despise what you thought was too much. Do not measure your worth by moments you wanted to quit. Do not believe the lie that you are less because you hurt. Because this hurt was not wasted. This pressure is not pointless. It is proof. Proof that I have been forming you in fire, building fortitude beneath the facade of faithfulness, and preparing you for what only those shaped by hardship can carry. Stay with me. Because in my timing, what was painful is becoming powerful beyond what you ever dared to imagine. I see the empty seats around your table. I remember how hopes knocked but were never answered. I know how dreams seem to change direction and doors slammed shut. And I know the nights when you whispered, was that all I was to them? Was that all I was for me? The loneliness pressed in. The confusion clouded your faith. But hear me now, none of it was random. None of it was wasted. I was not ignoring you, but removing interference. I was clearing space in your path. I was pruning what was meant to distract you. I was setting the stage for what is true, what is sacred, could occupy. Seasons close. Opportunities shift. People drift away. And sometimes the pain of loss felt like the beginning of defeat. But I promise you now, from the core of my heart, those losses were my logistics. Those closings were my corrections. Those moments when you thought you were alone were the exact times I was working in your favor in silence. You didn't see the hand of my protection, so you called it abandonment. But it was removal, removing dead weight, false voices, cheap promises, counterfeit friends, toxic expectations, all that threatened to choke your purpose. Because I love you too much to let anything blunt your destiny. I will not allow anything to remain in your life that hinders the fullness I ordained for you. If a season needed to end so a promise could begin, if a door needed to shut so the right door could open, if a friendship faded so your path could clear, know this: I orchestrated it. I removed interference so you could move in alignment. I removed distraction so you could walk into focus. I removed what seemed dear so you could discover what is destined. So do not weep for people who walked away. Do not curse the shifts that felt like betrayal. Do not long for the seasons past as though they define you. Because what I have in store, it cannot be compromised by what others never valued or what you never receive. I am establishing your foundation on the removal of interference, so that what stands now will not falter. What remains when everything else falls away is real. What remains when doors close is destiny. Stay with me. Watch how doors unlatch, how people speak favorably, how peace steps in, how alignment occurs. None of it random. All of it my handiwork. Beloved, do you remember those nights you whispered prayers no one else could hear? The moments when you chose integrity over ease, when you refused to lower your standard though your heart trembled with fear. I saw each one. Each secret yes you spoke, unbeheld, uncelebrated by the world, as being echoing through eternity. Not lost, not forgotten. Though no human witness applauded, heaven leaned in. Angels recorded, my heart treasured, my promise preserved. You thought that silence meant insignificance. But I tell you now, the kingdom does not operate on human applause. It operates on heart-level obedience. That hidden yes, that one offered in secret, is the foundation I'm using to build your open season of breakthrough. That sacrifice you offered when your energy drained, when your faith bent under frustration, that was spiritual investment. You sowed in shadows. You watered seeds beneath the soil. You believed in rain before the clouds ever gathered. And though you couldn't see green, though you couldn't feel sunrise, that seed inside you was living. It was alive in me. And now, harvest time is near. What you gave in cost, piece by piece and tear by tear, I am returning to you in increase of joy, increase of favor, increase of purpose. The vaults of heaven are opening because you were faithful in the hidden place. The moment has come for what was private to become public, what was seed to become fruit, what was whispered to become shout. You wonder, will they notice now? Will what I gave in secret matter in the light? Yes, child, more than you know. The echo of your hidden obedience is shaping corridors of opportunity you've not yet seen. Doors you thought closed because no one saw you knocking, they are swinging wide now because heaven heard you. People you thought had forgotten your value, they are aligning behind you now because my word remembers. Opportunities long deferred, they are going to align as direct rewards for what you carried in quiet. This is not delay. This is my perfect timing. What you gave in faith when all you saw was darkness, that was necessary. Because only through that darkness your faith could become a light no storm can extinguish. So, do not regret the nights you stayed up. Do not despise the cost you bore alone. They are not scars of shame but stripes of strength. They are not wounds of defeat but marks of victory. Hold your head high. Speak with boldness. You are standing on holy ground. The echo of your secret yes is now a trumpet sounding across realms. And what comes next will not just honor what you did, it will exceed what you believe it possible. I'm unveiling rewards for every hidden yes. Eternity heard your heart. Now your season hears its reward. My precious child, I know how heavy your shoulders have felt. I know the weight of expectation from family, culture, self. I know you've carried dreams and disappointments simultaneously. I see the long hours when you bore burdens you thought no one else could see. You believed every blame, every failure, every heartbreak was yours to own. Sometimes you believed I was distant because I let you carry so much. But my silence was not neglect, and my absence was not abandonment. What I carried in my heart for you, those promises, those destinies, that calling, has always carried more than even you knew. I carried them when you couldn't. I held your future in my hands when your hope felt dimmest. You believed you were alone with the burden. You thought no one understood. But I was there, holding them with you, collecting every tear, gathering every prayer dropped in weakness, protecting your tender places, working behind the scenes when your world was falling apart. I watched the burden threaten to break you, and I said, not today. I said, this is where I intervene, because I am not a God who gives you burdens without intention. I am a Redeemer who takes what was heavy and turns it into wings. What you believed was too much, what you thought would crush you, I have carried in my heart. And now, child, the time has come for my hand to lift what you cannot lift any longer. Imagine it, the burden slipping, the chains of duty and unmet expectation loosening, the shame, the guilt, the self-blame, falling away like dead leaves in autumn wind. Because what I release now is not what you earned. It is what I intended from eternity. Relief not just for one part, but for all the parts. Emotional, spiritual, relational, vocational. I will not let you keep dragging around hurts that defined you, fears that silenced you, guilt that kept you small. Not anymore. My purpose in your life was never for you to carry alone. It was always for you to thrive in communion with me, for me to be the breath beneath your wings, the strength in your weakness. To raise your hands, heart. Let me take them. Not in shame, but in surrender. Not because you're perfect, but because I am faithful. Not because you deserved better, but because I love you more than you ever knew. I'm about to lift burdens you thought were yours alone, and I'm going to replace them with presence, peace, purpose, and power. The weight you felt, it's lifting. The load is being removed. The altar of your heart is being cleared. And as I do, I want you to walk lighter, hope higher, love deeper. Because I'm not just Redeemer, I'm Restorer. And in this moment, I restore your soul's peace. Beloved, when voices around you said you were too much, too broken, too late, too small, you believed them. When people looked at your scars and saw failure, when they counted your losses and assumed the worst, that dismissal felt like defeat. I saw those moments. I heard those judgments. I felt your heart shrink under condemnation. Every time someone turned their back, you felt like a question. Was I never enough? But I want you to hear me now. The people who dismissed you didn't dismiss me. What others threw away, what they deemed worthless, I always claimed. I never saw you through their filter of limitations. I saw the masterpiece in your mess. I saw the promise in every loss. I staked my name on the grace that holds you, even when humanity fails to see your worth. Think back on those times someone judged your journey without walking your road. When they saw your struggles, they saw weakness. But I saw wrestling. I saw rising. When they saw your questions as complaints, I heard them as cries of a heart desperate for truth. When they looked at your tears as display, I treasured them as holy water, watering the seeds of your becoming. Because my perspective isn't shaped by appearances or performance. I look at what is hidden, the intention behind the obedience, the faith beneath the fear, the heart that kept hoping when all outward signs seemed dead. And so I claim you now, not based on what people say, but based on what I have always known within the secret place. Your worth, your identity, your destiny. You may carry wounds made by others' dismissals, words spoken over you like verdicts. But I want you to release the lie that those verdicts define you. Listen closely. I have already invited you into rooms you weren't invited to. I have already called you worthy of honor when the world pronounced you unworthy. What people do does not negate my affection. What they cancel does not cancel my promise. What they ignore does not erase my design. Because I claimed what they didn't see. I credited what they didn't value. And I preserved what they couldn't handle. You are my claim, not theirs. You are my delight, not their discount. You are my future, not their false closure. So, walk in confidence now. Lift up your chin. Let your eyes carry fire, not bitterness but clarity. Let your heart know, when people threw you away, I was already weaving your restoration. When they underestimated you, I was parking greatness in waiting. When they ripped you out of their lives, I was preparing a seat for you in glory. You will see that what they pressed into the ground I planted. What they buried under rejection I resurrected. What they deemed incomplete I will now complete. Because I claimed you. Always claimed you. And now the world will see not what they threw away, but what I restored into fullness. Beloved child, hear this. I do not scatter blessings like confetti. I do not hand out favor as if luck is upon the deserving. When I move with intention. Every open door, every connection made, every piece of what's aligning in your path now, it is not happenstance. You are not stepping into random blessings. You are walking into orchestrated orders. The designs of heaven are lining up behind every prayer, every moment of surrender, every tear shed in quiet. They are moving now like a symphony, each note in place, each instrument called, each melody playing, so the song of your destiny will sound in full. You feel that shift? A tension in the air that nothing human can manufacture. It doesn't come from coincidence. It comes from my counsel in secret places. While you prayed, I whispered strategies. While you waited, I set lanes of favor. While you wrestled with hope, I carved corridors for hope to manifest. Not a single thing is random. Not the people who are suddenly showing up. Not the doors slightly swinging, not the whispers in dreams, not the burdens dropping. Everything advancing for you is part of an orchestrated order. One you didn't have to fight for alone. One that was written before foundation of world. You used to wonder if God had forgotten. You thought your prayers bounced off silence. You felt like time's hands were slow to move. But my orders were at work all along, though unseen, though unfelt, though misunderstood. I was underpinning your path with purpose. I was clearing detours, removing what would have blocked you, stitching alliances you didn't notice, orchestrating shifts in territories of influence you didn't yet understand. These moves are too exact to be random, too timely to be trial, too perfect to be just luck. I see those who are scared to believe because they've waited too long, but believe anyway. This is more than blessing. This is the appointed fulfillment of promises made in heaven. So, step forward with courage. Do not shrink back because of what didn't happen before. Instead, press into what is happening now. Hold your eyes on me. Let your heart lean into my timing. Receive the open hands being extended. Recognize favor falling. Grasp the opportunities placed in your path. Because you are walking in order, not chaos, in appointment, not accident, in promise, not postponement. The blessings are not random drops. They are the water that floods the fields of destiny. And you will not carry this breakthrough alone. I walk it with you. I planned it with you. I called it forth with your yes. So then rise. Step into the order. The orchestration has begun. The map is in my hands. And I lead. Beloved, lean in. I want you to sense the wings you cannot see, the footsteps in the spirit that have crossed the threshold even when your eyes were too weary to believe. I have dispatched an angel on your behalf, not tomorrow. Now, do you feel that shift? That sudden change in the atmosphere? The trembling in your spirit? The stirring in your soul that says something is different? That is not disappointment's echo. That is divine movement. I sent my messenger because the weight you've shouldered too long is about to fracture under holy delegation. What this angel carries is not just relief. It is redemption of generations, reversal of bloodline curses, deliverance from patterns that felt permanent. What they carry breaks cycles, chains forged in your past, lies whispered in your childhood, rejection that echoed too many seasons. You have endured too many midnights believing nothing was changing. You have hoped when hope seemed absurd. You have prayed when prayer sounded like desperation. In those hours, the angel moved unseen, broke open what was bound, opened what was locked. His supernatural agent has been on assignment over your destiny. They don't wait at the sidelines. They arrest what the enemy thought was safe. They intervene in ways unseen but deeply felt. The past tried to define you. Even your fears tried to contain you. But this angel is here to break through what kept you small. Not in a burst of noise, but in a flood of clarity. Not with empty promises, but with visible proof. Not with delay, but with deliverance. Think about the long-held regrets, words unspoken, doors closed, relationships fractured, dreams dismissed. Perhaps you believed those things were final, that the loss was permanent. But I tell you now, cycles do not have final say. Generations may have walked in the patterns you thought bound you forever, but I don't inherit their chains. I inherit their longing, their willingness to believe again, their faith in miracles. The angel I'm sending carries scrolls of promise. Nothing about your life is random. Nothing about your lineage is wasted. What hath been passed down in sorrow can be handed off into glory. What hath been inherited in pain, I'm converting into purpose. What seemed like your curse becomes the arena for your testimony. So do not fear the shift. Do not balk at the change. Celebrate what you cannot yet fully see. Prepare for sudden alignment. Receive the help you believed was far off. Let your heart posture itself in awe, not in suspicion. Let your faith be louder than your doubts. Because this moment is not about tomorrow's mercy. It is about now's intervention. This angel is not just a promise of what might be. They are the evidence of what is. And what they carry will shatter cycles, healing, forgiveness, restored identity, unshaken peace. Stay with me. Feel my hand working in the spiritual realm. What was bound is breaking. You are not alone. The angel moves now. My child, stop striving for approval. I see how you prepare explanations. I hear how your tongue rehearses defenses. I watch you contort under the weight of needing validation. You try to explain what you cannot yet fully articulate. You try to prove what the world still doubts. You try to justify your pain, your faith, your path. But listen, you don't have to explain this to anyone. Not today. Not for them. Not for their understanding. Just walk. Just receive. Let me show them through what I do in you. Because your life, transformed, will say more than words ever could. Your healed eyes, steady posture, and awakened hope will be louder than any argument you could ever raise. I understand the impulse. You want permission to move, the right people to acknowledge you, the crowd to see your valor. But what if your movement doesn't need their recognition? What if my affirmation is enough? What if your progression, while invisible to some, is written in heaven with so much more weight than earthly applause? Let me carry your burdens of judgment. Let me take your need to explain. I fashioned your destiny so that it requires no justification. I'm leading you by hand into places where my work in you will speak so evidently that questions will fade. People will see you shine not because you shouted, but because what I did in the quiet became undeniably radiant in the light. You are receiving more than restoration. You're stepping into maturity. You're walking into a testimony that doesn't require your defense. You are being equipped with a presence that silences criticism by its very existence. People who never believed you will sense your authority. Those who questioned you will witness in you what they once denied. The grace in your life will be proof. The peace in your spirit will be contradiction to your past. The joy in your heart will be evidence that something supernatural has taken root. One day someone will ask, "How did you survive? How did you become?" And it will not be by your eloquence. It will be by your endurance, by your refusal to shrink, by what I did through what seemed broken. So walk. Don't pause for permission. Don't circle back for affirmation. Receive what I have for you. Let the transformation do the talking. Let the healing do the showing. You are being carried by my love, by my power, by my promise. And through you, others will understand me better, will glimpse my goodness, my mercy, my faithfulness. You don't owe anyone clarity. You owe me surrender. So stay with me. Keep stepping forward. Keep believing. Keep trusting. What is in you now is the revolution in someone else's map. The show of my glory rises, not from your explanations, but from your presence. And through your life, I will show them. Through you. Beloved, I see you. I see your effort. I see how you've been running, striving, proving, performing, for my approval, for someone's admiration, for a sense of worth. All these long nights, all those tormented thoughts. If I do this, if I behave this way, maybe then I'll be accepted. If I perform well, maybe then I'll be enough. I have watched you lean into perfection, dress your wounds, polish your edges, all in the hope that someone, maybe even you yourself, would nod and say, "Yes, you deserve this." But hear me now. You don't need to perform for me. You don't need to earn this moment. It is already yours. Not because of what you did, not because of what you can make yourself into, but because I spoke it, I decreed it, I loved you before the foundations of the earth. You have believed lies that said your value depended on performance. You have believed that your past failures, your hidden shame, your moments of falling short disqualify you from the good, the beautiful, the promised. Yet I tell you, I didn't design you to be perfect. I designed you to be mine, and my grace is sufficient for every flaw, every crack, every scar. The altar of your performance, the temple of your achievements, those I do not require. What I require is your heart. What I long for is your presence. What I cherish is your surrender. All the display of what you think you must become, lay that down. Let me affirm your identity so deeply that your performance becomes a response, not a requirement. Because what I've prepared for you is too grand to be earned. It is not a wage. It is a gift. It is not something you have to work your way into. It is something I called you into from the start. Healing, purpose, favor, freedom, these I have already purchased. Redemption, identity, destiny, they are already secured in me. You carry far more worth than you've believed. You are more loved, more seen, more known than your weight of striving. And this moment, this breakthrough, this word, it is already yours. Not because you were flawless, but because my love never fails, because my power never runs dry, because we walked this path together even when you couldn't see my hand. So stop trying. Stop striving for every nod, every approval, every accolade. Stop editing your voice, your story, your being, to fit into what someone else thinks you should be. Just rest. Receive. Know that I am enough. And know that your name is written in glory, not by your performance, but by my promise. Know that the moment you have longed for is not waiting on your perfection. It's unfolding on my faithfulness. And you, child, you are already more than enough. The moment is yours. It always was. Beloved, lean in again with your spirit. Even now, beneath what you can see, beneath the rhythms of your everyday, I am stirring. There is a sudden lift in your atmosphere. Something is shifting, not because you made it, but because I moved it. You might not see it with your eyes yet. The world around you might look the same. The seasons of your life may feel unchanged. But under your skin, in the deep places of your heart and spirit, I am rearranging. Nothing grandly visible yet. Fine. Because the invisible always precedes the visible. The wind blows where it wishes. You know the sound of its passing, even if you can't tell where it came from or where it goes. Just so is this moment. Subtle, sacred, powerful. You've grown accustomed to waiting for the obvious, the breakthrough you can post, the recognition you can share, the shift everyone else can see. But I have taught you to see by faith, not by appearance. I have taught you to trust the whisper when thunder hasn't come yet. This lifting in your atmosphere is evidence. Evidence that I am aligning your life behind the scenes, aligning favor, aligning people, aligning purpose. What seemed dormant is waking. What seemed delayed is being deposited. What seemed forgotten is being formed. Even your body, your dreams, your ideas, there is fresh stirrings in them. A lifting, a buoyant anticipation. Because I've made a promise in secret to you, and I am faithful to fulfill it. Think of the seed. What part of it does the seed see when it pushes into the soil? It doesn't know the sunlight yet. It doesn't feel the breeze. It's dark, hidden, confined. But all along, an invisible power is doing what must be done. Forming roots, setting structure, building upward potential. So you too, even now, Your roots are deepening beneath the pressure. Even before you see the green sprout, the structure is in place. Even before people notice, the power is active. Don't be discouraged by delay. Don't be unsettled by what hasn't changed in your natural yet, because I have been shifting everything beneath the surface. So rest in this truth. A divine shift is already in motion. You will not have to push through forever. The weight you've carried is about to lift. The darkness you've inhabited will begin to fade. The moment you've imagined is drawing near. Your atmosphere is changing, even if you don't feel it fully yet, even if it seems small, even if your senses argue otherwise. Trust what I am doing in the unseen. Hold fast to faith. Keep believing when nothing obvious has changed, because that is the testimony I am writing. Something beautiful in your secret moment, made visible in my perfect timing. My beloved, you've carried shame like a secret, folded, hidden, pressed into the corners of your soul, not because you lacked strength, but because you believed the lie that certain moments defined you. The decisions you regret, the failures you've buried, the chapters you don't mention. You've replayed conversations, mistakes, scenes that felt like humiliation, and the enemy has whispered again and again, "That's who you are. That's why you won't make it. That's what they'll remember." But I, the Lord your God, declare this day, what the enemy tried to use to embarrass you, I will now use to elevate you. You see, my glory is not intimidated by your lowest moments. I do not recoil at your mess. I do not distance myself from your past. In fact, I draw closer, because I'm the only one who can take the very thing meant to silence you and turn it into the very thing that speaks volumes about my mercy. That failure, I'll use it to showcase your redemption. That rejection, I'll use it to highlight your endurance. That scandal, that heartbreak, that hidden sin you repented of with trembling, I have already forgiven, already buried, already redeemed. Now, I will exalt you in the same place you were once mocked. Not because of what you did, but because of what I did in you after it happened. Remember Joseph. The pit was real. The betrayal was personal. The prison was unjust. But it was in that very pit that elevation began. What others meant for evil, I meant for good. And now, child, you too will see this unfold. That job you lost in shame, I'm using it to open a door you didn't know existed. That relationship that crumbled in pain, I'm using it to teach you authority and boundaries and boldness and identity. That failure that was broadcast, I'm about to let it be the backdrop to the miracle that will silence every critic and heal those watching. I don't just restore. I reverse the story, and I do it so publicly that the enemy has no room to gloat. So rise. You don't need to be embarrassed any longer. You don't need to shrink back in guilt. I've cleansed you, clothed you, anointed you. You are not your lowest point. You are not your past. You are not your private fear of being found out. You are my child, and I'm using your scars as evidence of survival. And more than that, I'm using your scars as testimony. This next level I'm taking you to will confuse those who only know your history. But it will make perfect sense to heaven, because heaven has seen your heart, your humility, your healing. And now I elevate you, not in spite of what the enemy used against you, but through it. Watch me do it. Listen to me, child. I know how long the waiting has felt. I know the ache of suspended prayers, the stillness that seemed eternal, the dreams that gathered dust while you wondered if they were ever real to begin with. I know the pain of watching others move ahead while your feet felt anchored. The voice of the accuser grew loud in those seasons, didn't it? Whispering lies like, You missed your moment. You're too late now. God passed you by. But I speak now, as the Alpha and Omega, the one who authored your beginning and secures your ending. You were not delayed. You were developed. You were not forgotten. You were fortified. What felt like pause was preparation. What looked like delay was design. And every unseen moment mattered. Every tear you cried in silence was not wasted. It was watering something deep in your spirit. Every not yet you received was not a punishment. It was a sacred pause so that your soul would not be crushed under the weight of premature promise. You see, I don't just give you what you want. I shape you to carry what I've destined. A blessing too soon becomes a burden. So I protected you, not because you were weak, but because your purpose is weighty. I was forging strength in you. I was chiseling your character in secret so that when I bring you forward, no storm will shake you, no voice will rattle you, no door will close what I've opened. You were being fortified, reinforced from within, built with steel beneath your softness, shaped to sustain the glory that is about to rest on you. Think of how seeds work. When they are buried, it feels like darkness, isolation. But beneath the soil, something powerful is occurring. Roots are spreading. Foundations are being established. The seed is not dead, it's becoming. And so were you. While others were running ahead, you were becoming deeper. While others chased quick success, you were learning to hear me in silence. You've been trained in stillness. And now, when I say move, you will run with clarity, not confusion. With stability, not desperation. You will not waste your energy chasing validation, because you've been anchored in me. You've been made ready, even if it didn't feel like it. So lift your eyes. The wait wasn't wasted. The silence wasn't neglect. It was the sound of me working. The delay was not rejection. It was protection. And now that you've been developed, now that you've been fortified, I can trust you with more favor, more impact, more revelation, more influence. And it won't consume you. It won't confuse you. It will fit because you were shaped for it. I'm about to accelerate what seems still. I'm about to redeem time. What others did in 10 years, you will do in 1. Not because you rushed, but because you rested. Now, the development is done. The fortification is complete. And what is coming will confirm why I made you wait. Everything that I have spoken, every message you've received, every confirmation, every quiet whisper in the late night, every divine interruption in your thoughts, it has all been leading here. Not to delay, not to someday, but to now. This is not a concept. This is not a metaphor. This is your moment. Not in some future yet to be decided. Not in some distant dream. This is the time I've appointed. The time the enemy feared. A time your soul had waited for, crying for Irreversible. The moment of divine release. You do not need to prepare more. You do not need to qualify further. You do not need to rehearse one more prayer. You are standing on the edge of the threshold, and I am saying, step forward. Step in. Zebum. I know how long you have wandered in the wilderness of waiting. How many times you've stood in front of doors and wondered why they didn't open. But now the locks are breaking. The hinges are shifting. The resistance is lifting. I am not asking you to perform. I am inviting you to move. I'm not saying you're about to walk into blessing. I'm saying the blessing is already reaching for you. It's already wrapped around your name. Angels are already on assignment. Alignments are already in motion. This moment isn't becoming. It's arrived. And you don't need to ask me, "Are you sure, Lord?" Because I say to you with power and certainty, yes, this is your moment. Everything you've endured has not been for nothing. The pain was the price of perspective. The delay was the process of preparation. The losses were the pruning of purpose. But now the cycle turns. Now the heavens respond. Now the time releases its grip. This isn't just another chapter. This is a shift of season. The oil that's about to pour out is from a vessel that's been crushed, refined, purified, and now it flows with healing, with fire, with favor. The world may not be ready, but you are. And heaven's gates are swinging wide because I said, it's time. You've lingered long enough at the border of breakthrough. I'm tearing the veil. I'm parting the waters. I'm lifting the curtain, not just for a glimpse, but for full access. So, child, do not shrink back. Do not second guess. Don't wait for another sign. This is it. This word is your activation. This message is your release. When you move in obedience now, you move in momentum. When you step with faith now, you walk in fulfilled prophecy. When you open your hands now, they will not come back empty. Because this is not hype. This is not hope deferred. This is not a rehearsal. This is a release. This is your divine now. And I am in it with you. I am going before you. I am standing beside you. And I will not let your steps fall to the ground. This is your moment. Take it. Claim it. Live it. This is your moment. Not someday, not eventually, but now. And part of walking into your now is helping someone else reach theirs. What you sow today carries my word to someone standing on the same edge of breakthrough. Your support is not about charity, it's about harvest. When you give, through super thanks, membership, or the link below, you're casting nets for souls, releasing manna into spiritual drought, igniting torches in places still dark. 2 Corinthians 9:8 is alive in this moment, and God is able to bless you abundantly. You will not give and go unseen. You will not sow and go unrewarded. So don't hesitate. Obey my nudge. Honor this moment with your giving. Move. Before you go, I want you to do one thing. Declare your yes. If you feel this word burning in your spirit, if you know this moment was meant for you, then speak it out loud in faith. Type in the comments, "This is my moment. I'm not backing down." Let every word be a prophetic shout into the atmosphere that the delay is over, the chains are broken, and the now of God has arrived. Don't scroll away silent. Respond like someone who just heard heaven call their name. Your declaration is not just a comment, it's a confirmation. I'm watching and I'm moving with those who answer. And as you declare that yes, stay with me. My child, remain right here in this place of encounter. I have something urgent to say, and it is for you alone. I know you are tired. I see you running, striving, trying to hold everything together. The pressure at your job feels like a weight on your chest, doesn't it? You worry about the future, about those bills, about the health of those you love. I see the unspoken tensions in your family, the conversations you are too afraid to have, and that quiet, aching feeling of being overlooked, of wondering if anyone truly sees the effort you put in every single day. You feel that knot in your stomach when you think about it all. That isn't from me. Let's undo it together. Cease your striving. Right now. I'm asking you to simply stop. Let your shoulders fall. And clench your jaw. Take that one deep breath you take right before you have to face a difficult challenge. That quiet pause where for a split second, there is only stillness. That is the space I am calling you into now. Be still before me. You don't have to perform. You don't have to prove anything. Just be here with me. I am calling you by name, my beloved. I am not speaking to the crowd. I am speaking to you. I formed you. I know the number of hairs on your head, and I know the sound of your heart when it breaks. You are mine, and I have never, not for a moment, taken my eyes off of you. This is not a distant echo from an old book or a half-remembered sermon. This is a present and urgent call. Feel the weight of these words. They are alive, and they are for you in this very moment, in the middle of your very real life. Put aside the distractions that are screaming for your soul's attention. I know your phone is buzzing. I know your to-do list is a mile long. I know the voices of doubt and fear are shouting in your mind, replaying yesterday's failures and rehearsing tomorrow's anxieties. With them all on pause, turn down their volume. You can pick them up later if you must, but for now, I am asking for this sacred, quiet space between us. Lean in close, my precious one. Do you hear it? It's not a sound for your ears, but for your spirit. My spirit is about to reveal my heart to you, to tell you things you cannot learn from the world. Stay with me. Just stay. My child, do you hear that sound? That constant, buzzing noise in the background of your life. The world is shouting for your allegiance, but I am whispering for your love. Its roar is deafening at times. The notification on your screen promises connection. The advertisement promises fulfillment if you just buy one more thing. The news cycle screams for your fear and outrage. The opinions of others, even those you love, demand that you conform to their expectations. These promises are so loud, but they are fleeting, my child, like mist in the morning sun. They are cleverly designed to pull you from my side, to make you believe that your peace and your worth are found out there, in the noise, in the hustle, in the validation of others. You have been running on that treadmill, haven't you? Chasing after the world's approval, only to find yourself more exhausted and emptier than when you began. You get the promotion, and for a day you feel seen, but then the anxiety for the next level begins. You get the praise you longed for, but the moment it fades, the hunger for more returns. I'm asking you to do something radical. I'm asking you to intentionally create a sanctuary in your heart for me. Right now. You don't need to go to a special building or a remote mountaintop. The sanctuary is within you. I want you to build a quiet room inside your own heart, a sacred space where the noise of the world is not allowed to enter. Shut the door on the endless scrolling. Mute the voices that tell you that you are not enough and that you need to do more, be more, have more. The clarity you so desperately seek is not found in more information. You have searched for it in books, in podcasts, in the advice of experts, but your soul remains restless. That clarity, that deep, soul-settling peace, is found only in my presence. In the stillness of that inner room where it is just you and I. Disconnect from the chaos to connect with the eternal peace I offer. This isn't an escape from reality. It is an anchor in the midst of it. True wisdom is not about knowing everything that is happening in the world. It is found in the silence where you can hear the one voice that truly matters. Only me. Let's practice now. Imagine that door in your heart. See the noise and the demands on the outside. Now, close it. Gently. Lock it with a key of intention. And just be here, in the quiet, with me. I am here. I have been waiting for you. Now that you are here in the quiet with me, I want to remind you of the foundation we stand upon. This connection we have, this very conversation, is not new, and it is not fragile. Before the dust of this world ever settled into the form of the ground you walk on, before the mountains you see were pushed up from the depths of the earth, I knew you. I knew your name. I love you. You are not an afterthought or an accident. You were a deliberate thought of love in my heart from eternity past. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. In your ever-changing life, where people leave, jobs end, and your own body changes, I am the one constant. I am the anchor that holds you steady in the most violent storms. And here is the truth I need you to soak into the deepest parts of your soul. Our relationship is not built on your performance. You carry this heavy burden, this belief that you must earn my affection. When you succeed, you feel close to me, and when you fail, you feel a chasm of distance. You think your mistakes have disappointed me so deeply that you must work your way back into my good graces. My child, that is a lie forged in the heart of the enemy. Our bond is not built on how well you perform. It is built on my promise. A promise I made to you before time began. A covenant I sealed not with ink, but with the precious blood of my own Son. Do not doubt your place in my family. It is the most secure position in the universe. I am your father when you feel like an orphan. I am your shepherd who leaves the 99 to come and find you when you feel lost and alone. I am your fortress when the world attacks you with its accusations and harshness. And I am your friend who stays closer than a brother. This conversation, this intimacy, is possible only because of that unbreakable covenant. It is already done. It is finished. You are not a guest in my house. You are my child, and you belong here. Listen carefully to me now, my beloved. I am telling you these things with such urgency for a reason. The spiritual seasons are shifting. Can you not feel it in your spirit? There is a change in the atmosphere, a growing tension, an unsettling wind that whispers of things to come. I do not tell you this to fill you with fear, but to awaken you from your slumber. Complacency is a subtle and dangerous trap, a warm blanket the enemy offers my children to keep them comfortable and unaware. He has lulled so many to sleep with the lullabies of material comfort, political distraction, and the pursuit of personal happiness. He has convinced them that a casual, convenient faith is enough, that attending a service once a week or saying a quick prayer before a meal will suffice. My child, the time for lukewarm, half-hearted faith has passed. The fence that so many have been sitting on is disappearing. A decision of the heart is now required. Events are unfolding in the world, not randomly, but according to my divine plan, a story I began writing long before your time. And you, my child, have a role to play in this chapter. It is not an insignificant part. It is a vital one. I have uniquely equipped you for this very hour. But I cannot use a soldier who is asleep in the barracks. I need you awake, alert, and armed with my truth. Many who once walked beside you are beginning to fall away. They are being deceived by easier gospels, distracted by worldly ambitions, were discouraged by trials. Your lights are flickering and going out. This is why I need you to stand firm, to be a beacon, a lighthouse of unshakable faith in the encroaching twilight. Your steady light will be a guide for others who are losing their way. This urgency you hear in my voice is born from the depths of my love for you. It is the call of a father who sees a storm on the horizon and wants to bring his child safely inside. It is my desire to protect you, to prepare you, and to position you for what is to come. The time for playing games is over. It is time to get serious about who you are and whose you are. Now, as I continue to speak, I need you to understand how to listen. What I am sharing with you cannot be fully grasped by your intellect alone. My words are not mere letters on a page or sounds in the air that your mind can process, analyze, and file away. My words are life. They are spirit. They carry the very power of creation within them, and they are designed to resonate with the deepest part of you, your spirit, which I created to be in communion with mine. Your mind is a beautiful gift, but it has its limits. It will try to argue, to doubt, to rationalize away the mystery of what I am saying. Do not let it. I am calling you to a deeper way of hearing. Open the ears of your heart. Let go of your need to have it all make logical sense right now. The temptation for you will be to pick apart every sentence, to question every promise, and to try and fit my infinite truth into the small, finite boxes of your human understanding. I am asking you to resist that temptation. Instead, receive this message with the simple, trusting faith of a child. When a loving father gives a gift to his child, the child does not analyze the molecular structure of the wrapping paper. He receives it with open hands and a joyful, trusting heart. This is how I want you to receive my words today. With every truth I speak to you, I am planting a divine seed deep into the fertile soil of your spirit. You may not see the growth immediately, but I promise you, it is taking root. Trust the process. Allow the Holy Spirit, who dwells within you as your comforter and guide, to be your personal interpreter. In the quiet moments of the days and weeks to come, He will cause these seeds to sprout. He will illuminate my meaning and show you how to apply these truths to your life. This is not a lecture I am giving you. This is a communion of spirits. It is my depth calling out to your depth. Be still and let your spirit listen. You have quieted your heart to listen, and this is the sacred space I have longed for between us. It would grieve me deeply if you were to leave now, just as I am about to tell you who you truly are in my eyes and reveal the unshakable, unchanging nature of my love for you. Please, do not turn away from the very words your soul was created to hear. Stay with me. After all we have discussed, my child, we must settle this fundamental truth once and for all: who you are. This is critical because if you do not know your true identity, you will live far beneath the life I have planned for you. The world, your past, and the enemy have given you many labels, and you have worn them for so long that you have started to believe they are your real name. Failure, because of that mistake you cannot forgive yourself for. Unworthy, because of the secret shame you carry. Not good enough, when you compare yourself to others. Damaged, because of the wounds others have inflicted upon you. Forgotten, when your prayers seem to go unanswered. You look at your past errors. You feel the weight of your present struggles, and you accept these labels as your identity. And now, you must listen to me. Hear my voice drown out all the others. Those are not your names. I reject them. They are lies, and they have no power over you unless you give it to them. Here is your true identity. You are a chosen child of the Most High King. You are not a slave to fear. You are a son, a daughter, with full rights of inheritance in my kingdom. You are royalty. I have washed you clean in the blood of my Son, and I have bestowed upon you a new name and a new, unshakable identity in Christ. When I, your heavenly Father, look at you, I do not see your sin. I do not see your list of failures. I see the perfect righteousness of my Son, Jesus, which now covers you. I see my beloved child, redeemed, righteous, holy, and deeply, profoundly cherished. This is how I see you, and my perception is the only one that is reality. Now, you must begin to see yourself through my eyes. I command you to stop walking in the shadow of fear and shame. Lift your head. Stand up tall and begin to walk in the divine authority I have given you. You are my workmanship, my poem, my masterpiece. You were created for glorious purposes that I planned long ago, purposes of love and light that we are going to walk out together, starting today. My child, let us speak plainly about my love for you, for it is the foundation upon which every other truth rests. You have been raised in a world where love is conditional. It is a transaction. You are loved because you are useful, because you are attractive, because you are agreeable, because you perform well. You have learned that this love can be withdrawn at a moment's notice if you fail, if you disappoint, if you are no longer convenient. People's affection for you rises and falls like the tide, and so you have spent so much of your life striving, performing, and hiding your true self, terrified that if people saw who you really were, the love would vanish. You have projected that broken human model onto me. You believe that you must earn my affection, that my delight in you grows when you read your Bible and shrinks when you lose your temper. You live on a spiritual roller coaster, feeling my love when you perceive yourself as good and feeling my absence when you perceive yourself as bad. I have brought you here to this quiet place to dismantle that lie forever. My love for you is not a feeling that comes and goes. It is not a reward for your obedience or a reaction to your success. My love for you is an eternal, unwavering, foundational reality. It is the very fabric of my being. Nothing you can do will make me love you more, and nothing you have done can make me love you less. Do you understand the freedom in that? The love I have for you today is the same love I had for you yesterday when you stumbled, and it is the same love I will have for you tomorrow, regardless of what that day holds. It pursued you when you were at your furthest point from me, when you were lost in darkness and had no thought of me. I love with the light that broke through, the voice that called your name, the power that drew you back home. It pursued you when you were lost, and it holds you now that you are found. Let this truth sink deeper than your insecurities. Let it find the fearful child inside of you that is so afraid of being abandoned. I need you to know, my perfect love does not just tolerate you. It casts out, it expels, it drives away all of your fear. You cannot be afraid of being rejected when you are fully convinced that you are perfectly loved. The scriptures tell you that I rejoice over you with singing. Stop for a moment and truly consider that. The Creator of the heavens and the earth, the very source of life and all that is good, is so captivated by you, so delighted in you, that it erupts from me in joyful song. You are the object of my divine delight. Do not ever question my affection for you again. It is the most certain and unchanging thing in all of creation. Now, because you understand the unchanging nature of my love, I must take you to a place. A hill outside a city wall, nearly 2,000 years ago. I need you to see it, to feel the gravity of it in your spirit. Never, ever allow yourself to grow so familiar with the story that you forget the reality. The sacrifice made on Calvary was not just a historical event. It is the central, explosive moment in all of history, and it was the price that was paid specifically for you. Your freedom, your peace, your ability to even hear my voice right now was not free. It was purchased, not with silver or gold, things that tarnish and perish, but with something of infinite and eternal value, the divine, precious blood of my only Son, Jesus. The world values currency, possessions, and power. I value you, and I paid the highest price imaginable to bring you back to me. The world, in its blindness, looks upon the cross and sees a tragedy. It sees the execution of a good man, a moment of weakness and defeat. Even some of my own children see it with a sense of sadness and loss. But I command you to see it through spiritual eyes, to see it as I do. The cross was not a tragedy. It was the ultimate, resounding triumph. It was the moment where my perfect love and my perfect justice met in a cosmic explosion that broke the power of sin and death forever. It was the moment that darkness was disarmed and my kingdom triumphed over the enemy's fraudulent claims on your life. So when that old, lying voice whispers in your ear that you are worthless, that you are insignificant, that your life does not matter, I want you to hold up the image of the cross as your unanswerable defense. I, the God who created all things and who evaluates all things with perfect truth, deemed you worthy of the life of my own Son. That act, in that moment, declared your infinite value to all of heaven, all of earth, and all of hell. The debate over your worth is over. It hath been settled for eternity. And because of this, you must begin to live differently. Live as one who has been bought with a price. You do not belong to yourself anymore. You do not belong to your past. You do not belong to your shame or your fears or the opinions of other people. You belong to me. Every breath in your lungs is a gift purchased at an infinite cost. Live like it matters. Live for me. From the gravity of what I have done for you in the past, let us move to the glorious reality of what I am doing for you right now, in this very moment. I want to burn a single, foundational promise into your memory, so that it becomes the default setting of your soul, the truth your heart returns to in every storm. Here it is. I will never leave you nor forsake you. This is not just a nice sentiment. It is a covenant promise from the God who cannot lie. This promise is not just for the good days when the sun is shining and you feel my blessing. He is for the difficult moments. In your deepest, darkest valley, when you feel so utterly alone that your own breathing sounds loud in the silence, when the shadows are closing in and you cannot see the path forward, I am there. On your highest mountain of success, when you are celebrating a victory and are tempted to think you accomplished it on your own strength, I am there, the source of that very strength. You do not walk this journey of life alone. I am your constant companion. My child, you must understand. This is not a metaphor. This is not just a poetic way of saying that I am thinking about you from a distance. The same Holy Spirit that hovered over the waters at creation, the same Spirit that raised Jesus Christ from the dead, that very Spirit of the living God literally dwells inside of you. Your body is His temple. He is with you when you wake up in the morning. He is with you in your car on the way to work. He is with you in the middle of a difficult conversation. He is with you when you lie down at night. There are days when you will feel my presence powerfully, like a warm embrace. And there will be days when you feel absolutely nothing, when I feel a million miles away. This is critical for you to grasp. Your awareness of me does not dictate my nearness to you. My presence in your life is not based on your fluctuating emotions. It is based on my unchanging promise. Whether you feel me or not, I am with you. I am in you. I am for you. Always. Stop striving to get to me. Simply open your heart to the reality that I am already there. Feel my presence right now, a shield around you and a quiet fire within you. I am here. We are in this together. Always. Because I am always with you, you can have absolute and unshakable confidence in the words I speak over your life. This is the security that the world longs for but can never find. Let's talk about the certainty you have because of my covenant. My promises to you are not maybes or possibilities or hopeful wishes. In Christ, they are all yes and amen. This means that every promise I have made in my word is a guaranteed reality for you. The words I have spoken over your life, words of purpose, of forgiveness, of hope, of provision, of a glorious future, cannot be stolen by the enemy. They cannot be broken by your weakness. They cannot be nullified by your circumstances. They are eternally secure because I, the covenant-keeping God, have spoken them. I see you, my child. I see how you place your hope in shifting things. You hope the economy improves. You hope your boss will notice your hard work. You hope your body will get stronger. You hope that relationship will heal. While these are not bad desires, your ultimate hope cannot rest in such sinking sand. I am calling you today to lift your hope off the volatile foundation of your circumstances and place it on the unshakable, eternal rock of my word. My word does not change when the world is in chaos. My promises do not fail when your plans fall apart. You worry that your wavering faith, your moments of doubt, will somehow disqualify you from my promises. Listen to this profound truth. I remain faithful even when you are faithless, for I cannot deny my own character. My promises are dependent on who I am, not on who you are. Your inheritance in me is absolutely secure. It is not held in a human institution that can fail. It is being guarded in heaven by my own divine power, reserved specifically for you. Nothing and no one can touch it. So rest. Let your anxious heart find peace in this certainty. When the storms of life rage and you feel tossed and turned by the waves of uncertainty, drop the anchor of my covenant deep into the unseen reality of my faithfulness. It will hold you fast. It will keep you secure. It will not fail. Can you feel that security settling in your spirit? I have wrapped you in the safety of my covenant. But my heart aches at the thought of you leaving this conversation now, armed with my promises but unwarned of the dangers ahead. Do not grieve my spirit by walking away before I have shown you how to recognize the enemy's whispers and guard the precious peace I have given you. Now that you understand the absolute security you have in me, you must also be keenly aware that you have an enemy who is utterly dedicated to making you forget it. His entire strategy is built on deception. He cannot create, he can only corrupt. He cannot build, he can only break. And he cannot tell the truth, for there is no truth in him. You must learn to recognize the deceiver's whispers, for he will not always announce himself with a roar, but often with a subtle, reasonable-sounding suggestion. His primary tactic, the one he has used since the garden, is to take my words and twist them. He will take a sliver of my truth and wrap it in a mountain of lies to make it believable. In the middle of the night, when you are tired and vulnerable, he will come to plant seeds of doubt in the fertile ground of your mind. He knows your specific weaknesses. He has studied you. He will whisper the lies that are most effective against you. To the one who feels they have failed me, he will whisper, "You are unforgiven. That sin was too great. God's grace is for others, not for you." To the one who is waiting for a breakthrough, he will hiss, "God has forgotten you." See, your situation hasn't changed. He is not listening. To the one I am calling to a new purpose, he will say, "You are unqualified. Who are you to do something for God? Remember all your failures and inadequacies." These are his favorite and most crippling lies. What is your defense? How do you fight a whisper? You must measure every thought, every feeling, every internal voice against the unchanging, objective truth of my scripture. My word is the plumb line that exposes his crooked reasoning. And be warned, he will not always come sounding like an enemy. Often, he disguises himself as an angel of light, offering you an easier, more comfortable, broader path that requires less sacrifice and less faith. He will appeal to your pride, your comfort, and your desire for shortcuts. Do not entertain his accusations or his suggestions for a single moment. He is the father of lies. When you hear his whispers, you are to actively resist him, firm in your faith. Speak my truth out loud in your home. Declare who I am and who you are in me. I promise you, when you stand on my word and resist him, he must flee from you. This is a battle for your mind, but I have already given you the weapons to win. Now that you have begun to recognize the enemy's whispers, we must talk about the glittering playground he has constructed to distract you, the grand illusion he uses to keep my children chasing the wind. I am speaking of the allure of worldly comforts. Your heart is an empty vessel, created with a deep, cavernous longing that only I can fill. But the world offers you an endless catalog of things it claims will satisfy that ache. Do not set your heart on these treasures of the earth, my child, for they will all perish. I see you. I see the things you are chasing, the goals you have set that you believe will finally bring you peace. The number in your bank account that you think will finally make you feel secure. The job title you are striving for that you believe will finally make you feel significant. The approval from that person you admire that you believe will finally make you feel worthy. You look at the lives of others on your screen and your heart whispers, if only I had their house, their vacation, their body, their relationship, then I would be happy. My beloved, this is a trap. It is a vanity. It is like trying to quench a deep and burning thirst by drinking salt water. It only makes the thirst more intense. The pursuit of wealth, fame, and power is a frantic race on a treadmill with no finish line. The moment you acquire one thing, your eyes are already set on the next. The pleasure is fleeting, and the underlying anxiety never subsides. The world offers you temporary solutions to the eternal problems of the soul. It offers entertainment to distract you from your emptiness. It offers ambition to numb your feelings of insignificance. It offers pleasure to make you forget your pain. But these are all bandages on a deep wound. They can never heal it. I am the only source of true, lasting joy and contentment. The joy I give is not fragile. It is not dependent on your circumstances, your bank account, or your social status. It is a deep wellspring within you, fed by my spirit, that can bubble up with life even in a season of sorrow. I am asking you to make a conscious choice today. Transfer your security. Move it out of the volatile, crashing market of earthly possessions and fleeting opinions, and invest it fully in me. Your ultimate security is not in your savings account. It is in your Savior. Your true identity is not found in your position at work. It is found in your position as my child. What you build for my kingdom, the love you show, the kindness you extend, the truth you share, the people you serve, that is all that will endure into eternity. Everything else, the car, the house, the clothes, the awards, will turn to dust. Do not waste your precious life building a kingdom of dust. Build with me. Invest in what is eternal. You have heard me speak of the illusion of worldly comforts and the wisdom of investing in what is eternal. If your heart now burns to act on this truth, know that this is a divine appointment to transfer your allegiance from the temporary to the eternal. Your giving becomes a river of life, carrying these urgent words to souls drowning in the noise. You are not merely giving. You are sowing seeds of light into desolate fields, storing up for yourselves treasure where no moth or rust can destroy. I declare over you now my eternal promise. Test me in this and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out a blessing you cannot contain. Your provision will not be diminished. It will be multiplied for my glory. Therefore, release your gift now through Super Thanks membership, or the link below, and watch as I turn your earthly seed into an eternal harvest. As you navigate this world with all its pressures and its glittering illusions, there is a great and subtle danger you must be constantly aware of, an internal enemy that can be more destructive than any external foe. It is the danger of your heart growing cold. This is one of the enemy's most patient and effective strategies. The fire of your love for me and for others, that passion you felt when you first knew my forgiveness, does not usually die in a great, explosive gust of wind. It dies slowly, one drop of chilling rain at a time. The constant pressure of daily life, The endless responsibilities, the disappointments that pile up, the weariness that settles into your bones, all of these can slowly dampen the flame. A prayer goes unanswered the way you hoped. A person you trusted betrays you. A dream you held dear dies. And with each one, a little bit of warmth leaves your heart, replaced by a creeping coolness. There are two poisons, my child, that will accelerate this chilling process faster than any other: bitterness and unforgiveness. When someone wounds you deeply, your instinct is to hold on to that pain, to build a wall around your heart and nurse the grudge. You believe that by not forgiving, you are somehow punishing the person who hurt you. But listen to me, that is a profound dissection. Holding on to unforgiveness is like drinking a cup of poison and expecting the other person to die. The only one it destroys is you. It will defile your spirit, block your prayers, and choke out the flow of my love in your life. The antidote to a chilling heart is intentional cultivation of warmth. You cannot be passive. You must actively guard the warmth. This means you must choose gratitude when your flesh wants to complain. You must choose to worship me when your circumstances scream for despair. You must choose to extend compassion when your instinct is to judge. Do you remember the wonder you felt when you first came to me? The simple, overwhelming joy of being known and loved by your Creator. That is your first love. The enemy wants you to forget it, to replace that childlike wonder with a hard, protective shell of adult cynicism. Do not let him. I am calling you to return to that place. Fan that original flame back to life. A soft, responsive, and warm heart is the fertile ground where I do my greatest work. Guard it above all else. From this warm and tender heart that we have just discussed, a life that is truly alive will begin to flow. This is the source of what I mean when I give the command, "Be holy, because I, your God, am holy." I know that the moment I say the word holy, you may feel a crushing weight of impossible expectation. Your mind immediately pictures a stern, joyless figure, someone who never makes a mistake and is detached from the realities of life. You think, that could never be me. My child, you must erase that religious caricature from your mind. That is not what I am calling you to. My call to holiness is not a call to impossible, sinless perfection achieved by your own straining effort. It is a call to consecrated devotion. It simply means to be set apart. It means that you no longer belong to the world, to sin, or to your old self. You have been set apart for me, for my purposes and my delight. So what does this setting apart look like in your everyday, real life? It is not about grand, public displays of piety. It happens in the thousand small, unseen choices you make throughout your day. Holiness is the choice to speak a word of truth when a lie would be easier. It is the choice to turn off the television show that you know is polluting your spirit. It is the choice to refuse to participate in the gossip at work that tears another person down. It is the choice to handle your finances with absolute integrity when no one is watching. It is the choice to respond with patience to your family when your exhausted nerves are screaming for you to lash out. Righteousness is not a list of rules you follow to try and earn my favor. You can never succeed at that. True righteousness is the evidence of my character being formed in you by my Spirit. It is my love, my joy, my peace, my patience, my kindness, my faithfulness, my gentleness, and my self-control becoming your natural reactions. Your choices matter more than you can possibly imagine, because they are a living testimony to the world of who I am. When you choose to forgive someone who doesn't deserve it, you are showing them a glimpse of my mercy. When you choose to be generous, you are showing them my provision. Your very life becomes a letter from me, written not with ink but with my Spirit, for watching, searching world to read. So flee from the passions that try to pull you back into your old life. and instead, actively pursue justice, faith, love, and peace. This is the beautiful, vibrant, and free life of holiness I am calling you to. As you walk this path of holiness, this life of being set apart, you will inevitably face confusion. The world will present you with 1,000 different paths, each promising happiness and fulfillment. How will you know which way to go? How will you navigate the complex and often treacherous currents of your culture? I have not left you as an orphan to try and figure it all out on your own through trial and error. I have given you a guide, an anchor, a light. My word is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. You are living in an age of shifting truths, an era where right and wrong are often seen as relative, decided by personal feelings or popular opinion. In the midst of this moral fog, my word is your one absolute, unchanging guide. It is the North Star that remains fixed in the sky, allowing you to get your bearings no matter how lost you may feel. But this lamp will do you no good if it remains closed on a shelf, collecting dust. It is not a magic charm that protects you by its mere presence in your home. It is spiritual food, and you must actively consume it for it to nourish you. Do not just read its words, you must devour it. Meditate on it, chewing on its truths until they become part of you. Memorize its promises, so they are readily available in your mind when a crisis hits. And most importantly, you must live by it. Let it be the standard by which you measure your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Furthermore, you must understand that my word is also a weapon. It is the sword of the Spirit, your primary and most powerful offensive weapon in spiritual warfare. When the enemy comes to attack you with lies of fear, accusation, and doubt, you do not fight back with your own logic or reasoning. You counter his deception with the authoritative truth. It is written, and I must give you a sober warning. In these times, many false doctrines will arise. Teachers will emerge who will tickle your ears, telling you exactly what your sinful nature wants to hear. A gospel without sacrifice, a grace without repentance, a faith without obedience, a Savior without lordship. These paths will seem easy, wide, and appealing, but I promise you, they lead to destruction. This is why you must be so grounded in my truth. Build your life upon the solid, unshakable rock of my scripture. Read it, know it, live it. And when the storms of life and the floods of false teaching come, and they will come, you will not be shaken. You now hold the anchor of my word, and see the high and holy life I am calling you to. I can sense the question forming in your heart, how can I possibly live this way? It would wound me for you to depart now, crushed under the weight of this calling, before I reveal the glorious secret of my grace and the limitless resurrection power I have already placed within you. Stay, for the revelation of your true strength is next. As you hold my word in your hands and see the high and holy standard I have called you to, it is natural that you may feel a sense of being overwhelmed. As you look at the commands to love your enemies, to forgive those who hurt you, to be holy as I am holy, you may be thinking, I cannot do this. I am not strong enough. I will fail. My child, I want you to listen very carefully. You have just stumbled upon the most important secret of the entire spiritual life. You are absolutely right. You cannot do it. But I can. Your recognition of your own inadequacy is not a sign of failure. It is the prerequisite for true power. For here is the divine paradox that you must learn to live in every day. In your weakness, my power is made perfect. Your whole life, the world has taught you the opposite. It has taught you to be strong, to be self-sufficient, to hide your weaknesses at all costs, and to project an image of competence and control. I am calling you today to lay down that heavy burden. Stop trying to be strong in your own ability and learn to rely completely on mine. My grace is not a one-time transaction that happened when you first believed in me, a ticket into heaven that you put in your pocket. My grace is the moment-by-moment, continuous supply of my divine life and empowerment flowing into you. It is the power that enables you to do what you cannot do on your own. Grace is the supernatural ability to be patient with your children when you are at the end of your rope. It is the divine strength to resist that old temptation when it rears its head and you feel weak. It is the heavenly wisdom to know what to say in a tense meeting or a difficult conversation. It is not about you trying harder. It is about you surrendering more deeply and allowing my strength to become your strength. This is why I invite you not to boast in your strengths, but to boast in your weaknesses, so that my power may rest upon you like a tent. When you willingly admit your need, when you confess your inadequacy, you create an open space for my all-sufficient power to rush in and accomplish what you never could. There is an inexhaustible, limitless ocean of my grace available to you. You can never use it up. You can never ask for too much. All you have to do is come to me with your empty, open hands and your humble heart and say the most powerful prayer you can utter. Father, I cannot do this. I need you. Simply ask, and you will receive. Abandon the exhausting effort of self-reliance and embrace the liberating power of my grace. Because you are learning to live in the reality of my sufficient grace, you can now learn to rest in the reality of my sufficient provision and protection. Your heart is consumed with anxiety about the future. It is a constant, low-grade hum of fear beneath the surface of your days. What if I lose my job? How will I pay this unexpected bill? What if my health fails? How can I protect my family from the dangers of this world? These questions are the enemy's favorite tools to pull your gaze away from me and onto the instability of your circumstances. He wants you consumed with the what if so that you forget the great I am. Today I am commanding that anxiety to be silent. I am Jehovah Jireh, the Lord who provides. This is not just a name. It is a declaration of my character and a promise to you, my child. I want you to look out your window at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns. They do not have savings accounts or retirement plans. And yet, I, their creator, feed them every single day. Look at them. Are you not infinitely more valuable to me than they are? I am not asking you to be irresponsible. I am calling you to shift your primary focus. Your greatest energy is being spent on worrying about your needs rather than on pursuing me. This is the great reversal I am calling you to. Seek first my kingdom and my righteousness, and all these other things, the food, the clothing, the shelter, the finances, will be added to you. What does that look like in your practical, daily life? It means choosing to spend time with me in the morning even when you feel the pressure of an early deadline. It means choosing to give with a generous heart even when your budget feels tight. It means choosing to act with integrity in your business dealings even when a dishonest shortcut promises a bigger profit. It means you trust that as you prioritize my kingdom, I will manage yours. And just as I am your provider, I am your shield and your strong tower, a refuge in these troubled times. You fear the weapons the world forms against you, the gossip that could ruin your reputation, the betrayal that could break your heart, the economic downturn that could threaten your security. But my promise to you is this: no weapon formed against you will prosper when you abide under the shadow of my wings. My protection is not a passive hope. It is an active, divine reality. Stop striving to provide for and protect yourself. That is an exhausting, impossible burden. Exchange that heavy yoke for mine. Let me be your provider. Let me be your protector. Your only job is to trust and obey. My protection is not just a shield that surrounds you externally. It is a dynamic, living fire I have placed within you. For too long, You have seen yourself as weak, fragile, and powerless against the challenges of the world and the temptations of your own heart. You feel like a victim of your circumstances, tossed about by the winds of change and the whims of others. Today, that perception must be shattered by the truth of who you are in me. Listen closely, my beloved, for this is one of the most transformative truths you can ever grasp. The same Spirit that hovered over the waters at the dawn of creation, the same Spirit that empowered the prophets, the same Spirit that raised Jesus Christ from the dead, now lives and dwells in you. This is not a metaphor. This is the literal reality of your new birth. The omnipotent power of God has taken up residence within your very being. Because of this, you have not been given a spirit of fear. Fear is an orphan spirit, a slave spirit. It is not your inheritance. I have given you a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound, disciplined mind. Let's break this down. You have divine power. This is not your own willpower or your own strength, which you know fails you time and again. This is my resurrection power. It is the power to break the cycle of that sin you keep returning to. It is the power to forgive that person who wounded you so deeply. It is the power to persevere with hope in the midst of a trial that feels like it will never end. You also have a spirit of love. This is my divine, unconditional love, the ability to love the unlovable, to show kindness to those who are cruel to you, to put the needs of others before your own. And you have a sound mind. This is the ability to take your anxious, chaotic thoughts captive and bring them under the authority of my word, to live with peace and self-control even when the world around you is in chaos. This power is not for your own personal gain or to make a name for yourself. It is the power to be an effective witness for me, to show a dying world what my life looks like in a yielded vessel. Do not neglect the spiritual gifts I have placed within you. Stir them out. If I have given you a gift of encouragement, then encourage. If I have given you a gift of service, then serve. You are capable of far, far more than you have ever imagined. Not through your own might, nor by your own power, but by my Spirit who is at work within you. Stop looking at your own limitations and start tapping into my limitless power that resides inside you. This incredible power that I have placed within you is not just to help you endure this present life. It is also meant to prepare you for and give you a taste of the glorious life that is to come. My child, I know this world has wounded you. I see the weariness in your soul. You are tired of the struggle, the pain, the injustice, the constant battle against sin and sorrow. A part of you longs for it all to be over, for a final and lasting peace. This longing is not a sign of weakness. It is a divine homing signal I have placed in your heart, reminding you that this world is not your final home. You are a citizen of heaven, a pilgrim passing through this temporary land. Your true home is with me, and I am, at this very moment, preparing a place for you that is beyond your wildest dreams and most beautiful imaginings. I want you to let this eternal hope be the fuel that carries you through your present trials. One day, I will personally wipe every last tear from your eyes. Can you imagine that? A reality where there is no more death, no more sorrow, no more crying, no more pain. The anxieties that keep you awake at night will be gone. The sickness that weakens your body will be gone. The broken relationships that grieve your heart will be healed or forgotten. All the former things will have passed away, and I will make everything new. I tell you this truth, your current sufferings, which feel so heavy and all-consuming, are not worthy to be compared with the immeasurable weight of glory that is being revealed to you. They are light and momentary afflictions that are producing for you an eternal reward that far outweighs them all. So I command you to lift your eyes. Stop focusing only on the seen reality of your struggles and your problems. Focus your eyes on the unseen reality of your eternal inheritance. Let the hope of heaven change the way you live on earth. When you live with an eternal perspective, your present trials lose their power to crush you. They become temporary assignments, not permanent conditions. Your story does not end in a hospital bed or a graveyard. Your story ends at a feast, at a wedding supper, in my arms, in a home prepared for you, forever. Hold on to this hope. It is an anchor for your soul, firm and secure. This glorious hope of the future does not mean you are simply left to endure a broken life until you get to heaven. That is a misunderstanding of my heart. I am not just the God of your eternal future. I am the God of your restoration in the here and now. You must understand the nature of your enemy. He comes only to steal, to kill, and to destroy. He wants to steal your joy, kill your hope, and destroy your purpose. He has taken things from you. He has inflicted wounds that have left deep scars. He has orchestrated events that have brought you immense pain and loss. But you must also understand the nature of who I am. I have come that you may have life, and have it in abundance. My purpose is the polar opposite of his. Where he deconstructs, I restore. Listen to this promise and let it settle in your spirit. I will restore the years that the locusts have eaten. You look back at your life and you see wasted years, years lost to a bad relationship, to an addiction, to fear, to a dead-end job. You see them as a permanent deficit, a loss that can never be recovered. But I am the God who redeems time. I can take the lessons learned in your deepest pain and use them to accelerate your growth and wisdom. I can compound the blessings in your future in such a way that it makes up for all the lost time. I can take your deepest wounds and, once they are healed by my touch, turn them into sources of profound healing and compassion for others. I am the God who brings beauty from ashes. You look at the ashes of your failures, your broken dreams, and your great disappointments, and you see only a pile of ruin. But I see the raw material for a masterpiece. Give me your ashes, and I will give you a crown of beauty. I am the God who turns mourning into dancing. I will take the heavy garment of your sorrow and replace it with a garment of praise. What the enemy meant for evil against you, that betrayal that was designed to destroy your ability to trust, that failure that was meant to crush your spirit, I will surely take it and use it for good. Your story is not over. The chapter of your greatest pain will not be the final chapter. The chapter of divine restoration is being written right now. Trust me with the broken pieces of your life, and watch what I will build. The promise of my complete restoration is now blooming in your heart. But this new life is not the destination. It is the starting line for your destiny. It grieves me when my children receive my healing but forget their purpose. Do not walk away before I can show you the unique and vital design I have for your restored life, the irreplaceable part in my grand story that only you can play. Now that you are walking in this restored life, you must understand why. You were not restored simply for your own comfort, to live a pleasant and easy life. You were not saved from something just to sit on a spiritual bench for the rest of your days. My child, you were saved and restored for something. You were created with a specific and unique purpose. There are good works, divine assignments, that I prepared in advance specifically for you to do, works that no one else can accomplish in the same way you can. Your life is not an accident. You are not a random collection of atoms. You were designed with intention and precision for a vital role in my grand, unfolding story. One of the enemy's most effective strategies to neutralize you is the trap of comparison. You look at the life and the calling of another person, and you think their purpose is grander, more spiritual, more important than yours. You see someone with a public ministry, and you feel your quiet life of service is insignificant. You see someone with a dramatic testimony, and you feel your simpler story is less powerful, stop. I command you to stop comparing your calling to that of another. Your path is uniquely yours. To compare is to insult my creative wisdom in designing you. I am weaving a great and magnificent tapestry that spans all of history. Your life is a thread in that tapestry. Some threads are bright and bold, others are subtle and deep, but every single thread is essential to the final picture. If you try to be a different thread, a hole is left where you were supposed to be, and the masterpiece is incomplete. Embrace the mission I have given you, whether it seems great or small in the world's eyes. Your purpose may not be to preach to thousands. It may be to raise children who know and love me with all their hearts. It may be to be a beacon of integrity and honesty in your workplace. It may be to faithfully care for an elderly parent or to be a loyal friend to someone who is lonely. Do not underestimate the eternal significance of these seemingly small acts of faithfulness. Fulfilling your God-given purpose is the key to true and lasting fulfillment. It is the answer to that question that haunts you in the quiet moments. What is my life for? You were made for this. Now, let us walk it out together. This unique purpose I've designed for you, this vital thread you represent in my grand tapestry, is not meant to be lived out in secret. You were not restored to hide. You were not forgiven to live in the shadows. I have declared this over you, and it is an irrevocable truth. You are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Let us break this down so you understand what it means for you today, in your actual life. Salt has several properties. It preserves, it creates thirst, and it adds flavor. In a world that is decaying under the influence of sin and selfishness, your life of integrity, your quiet choices of righteousness when no one is watching, act as a preservative, holding back the corruption. Your genuine, unshakable joy, your deep and abiding peace in the middle of a storm. These things should be so different from the world around you that they make others thirsty. They should look at you and wonder, what is the source of that hope? I want what they have. And your presence, my child, should add the flavor of my kingdom to every environment you enter. In a workplace filled with cynicism, you bring hope. In a family gathering fraught with tension, you bring peace. In a conversation filled with gossip, you bring grace. And you are light. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. I have set you on a hill. I have lit a lamp within you, my very own spirit, and I am asking you, do not hide this light under a bowl of fear or insecurity or a false sense of humility. The purpose of light is to be seen, not so that you can be glorified, but so that the darkness can be pushed back, so that others who are stumbling in the dark can find the path. Your life is to be a mirror, a reflection of my character to a lost and broken world. When people interact with you, they should get a glimpse of me. Let your unshakable peace in the middle of a financial crisis be a testimony to my sovereignty. Let your unexplainable joy in a season of personal hardship be a testimony to my goodness. Let your extravagant kindness and unearned forgiveness toward someone who has wronged you be a powerful testimony to my grace. You must also understand that serving others with humility is how you shine this light most brightly. When you make a meal for a sick neighbor, when you patiently listen to a friend's heartache without offering cheap advice, when you encourage a coworker that others are tearing down, in those moments, you are not just doing a good deed. Your hands become my hands. Your voice becomes my voice. Your heart becomes a conduit for my love. Do not be afraid of the visibility. I know you fear being called a hypocrite. You fear that your own flaws will discredit the light. My child, the world does not need your perfection. It needs my light shining through a real, authentic, yielded vessel. Now, shine brightly, so that a world that is so lost and stumbling in darkness may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. I have called you to be a vessel of my light, a city on a hill that cannot be hidden. If your spirit now yearns to send this light further than your own hands can reach, then understand that your support is the very oil that keeps this lamp burning brightly for a world lost in darkness. Every gift you release fuels this beacon, carrying this urgent message to hearts I am calling back to myself. Because you are supplying this need for the sake of my name, I now declare to you that I will meet all your needs according to the riches of my glory. The night is growing darker, and this is your appointed moment to ensure the light does not flicker. As you give, I place a hedge of protection around your own resources and cause you to be a fountain of blessing. Act now. Release your support through Super Thanks, membership, or by using the PayPal link, and partner with me in shining this light to the nations. As you live this life as a vessel of my light, one of the most potent and powerful tools I have given you to shine that light is your own personal story. Your testimony of my grace in your life is not a minor detail to be glossed over. It is a weapon of spiritual warfare and a key that unlocks the hearts of others. I know your instinct. Your instinct is to hide your past. You look back at your mistakes, your shame, your brokenness, the darkness that I brought you out of, and you think it disqualifies you from being used by me. You believe that you need to present a polished, perfect, problem-free version of yourself to the world in order to be a credible witness. My child, that is a lie straight from the enemy. Your greatest strength is not in your perceived perfection. It is in your honest redemption. Your scars, which you try so desperately to hide, are the very things that prove the power of my healing. Do not be ashamed to share how I have worked in your life. The scripture is clear and I want you to hear it with fresh ears. The enemy is overcome by two things: the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony. My son's blood, shed on the cross, has already secured the cosmic, legal victory over all darkness. That part is finished. But your personal testimony is how you appropriate, enforce, and declare that victory on the battlefields of your everyday life. When you speak of my faithfulness in your past, you remind the enemy of his defeat. When you declare my goodness in your present, you build a fortress of faith around your heart. Your vulnerability is not a weakness. It is a divine key. When you have the courage to be honest about your struggles, your past addictions, your battles with anxiety, your broken relationships, and then testify to how I have met you and am healing you in the midst of them, it unlocks the prison doors for other people who are still hiding in their own shame. Your honesty gives them the permission. They need to be honest too. It shows them that I am not a God for perfect people, but a God who beautifully restores broken people. You are a living letter, written by my Spirit, for all to read. Your life story is a gospel, a piece of tangible good news that demonstrates my power to save, to heal, and to restore in the real, messy world. You do not need to have all the complex theological answers. You simply need to be able to say, with humble conviction, I was blind, but now I see. I was broken, and He is making me whole. I was without hope, and He has become my anchor. Tell your story. Testify to my faithfulness in the small things and the big things. And watch as the seeds of your testimony are carried by my Spirit to multiply faith in the hearts of those who hear it. Now, I must speak to you with the tender but firm voice of a loving coach, a father who knows the road ahead. This life of faith, this journey of being my light and sharing your story, is not a short, easy sprint. It is a long-distance marathon, and it requires endurance. You must be prepared for the long haul. There will be days, weeks, and even seasons when you grow tired. You will pour out love and feel you receive only criticism in return. You will act with integrity and watch as dishonest people seem to prosper. You will share your hope and be met with mockery or indifference. In those moments, the temptation to give up, to retreat into yourself, to dim your own light because it feels too costly to keep it shining, will be immense. You will feel weary. But I am commanding you today with a promise attached. Do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time, you will reap a harvest of righteousness and joy if you do not give up. These trials and periods of weariness are not pointless. Your perseverance in the face of them is building something deep and eternal within your soul. It is forging a strength of character and a resilient hope that cannot be developed in times of ease. You are becoming stronger, more compassionate, more like my son with every weary step you take in faith. But how do you keep going when you feel you cannot take another step? What is the secret to this endurance? You must learn to fix your eyes on Jesus, the author who started your faith and the perfecter who will bring it to completion. Look at the race he ran for you. He did not quit when it became difficult. He endured the unimaginable agony of the cross, scorning its shame, because he was focused on the joy that was set before him, the joy of bringing you, and so many others, into my family. Your joy is set before you, as well, the joy of finishing your race and hearing me say, "Well done, my good and faithful child." I know that your outer self, your physical body and your emotional energy, feels like it is wasting away at times. You feel the strain, the pressure, the exhaustion. But I promise you, as you keep your eyes on me, I am supernaturally renewing your inner strength day by day. When you feel you are about to quit, you must come to me immediately. Do not wait until you have completely run out of fuel. Come to me and tell me plainly, "Father, I am weary. I cannot do this on my own." And I will give you rest. I will give you the strength to take just the next step. A great and glorious reward awaits those who endure to the end. Keep running. I am with you. As you run this marathon of faith with perseverance, you must be wise. A marathon runner is strategic about how they use their energy and resources. In the same way, you must be strategic about where you invest your life, your time, your talents, and the material resources I have entrusted to you. I have set before you two distinct places where you can store your treasure, two investment portfolios. You can choose to store up for yourselves treasures on earth. This is the world's way. This portfolio consists of a bigger house, a newer car, a more impressive job title, a larger retirement account, and a life of comfort and ease. But I have warned you that this portfolio is incredibly volatile. Moths and rust will destroy it. Thieves, whether through fraud or force, can break in and steal it. Markets will crash, economies will fail, and in the end, you cannot take any of it with you. Or you can choose to store up for yourselves treasures in heaven. This portfolio is eternally secure, guarded by my own omnipotence, where no decay, no thief, and no market crash can ever touch it. This is not just a financial principle, my child. This is a principle of the heart. For I have told you a profound truth. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Your heart, your devotion, your deepest affections will follow your investments. If your primary treasure is your career, your heart will be filled with the anxieties of performance and promotion. If your primary treasure is your material possessions, your heart will be filled with the fear of losing them. I am calling you today to be a wise, eternal investor. Generosity towards my kingdom and towards my people is not an expense on your budget. It is the single greatest and most secure investment you can possibly make, and I personally guarantee an infinite return. What does this look like in your life? It means using the worldly wealth I have entrusted to you, your money, your home, your skills, as a tool to win friends for eternity. It means joyfully funding the spread of my good news to those who have never heard it. It means opening your home with hospitality to those who are alone. It means using your professional skills to serve your local church and to help the poor. Look at your bank statement and your calendar. They are theological documents. They reveal where your treasure truly is. They reveal the location of your heart. I challenge you today to live with an eternal perspective. Make choices with your time and your money that will echo in glory. Use the temporary resources I have given you on earth to build a treasure that will be waiting for you, eternally secure, in your true home. We have journeyed far, and your heart is now aligned with what is eternal. But the final, most urgent truth remains, and my spirit aches with a divine impatience for you to hear it. Do not grieve me by turning back to the world now, when we are moments from understanding the lateness of the hour and receiving my final impartation of peace and courage for the days ahead. Stay until the very end. The conclusion is everything. As you live with this eternal perspective, running your race with endurance and investing in what truly lasts, there is an overarching reality that must inform every choice you make. I must speak this to you with solemn urgency. The hour is later than you believe. I am calling you to open your spiritual eyes and understand the times in which you are living. The signs that I told my disciples to watch for, the signs that would precede my return, are not distant historical footnotes or future fantastical events. They are converging now. They are the headlines in your newsfeed. The increase in lawlessness, the love of many growing cold, the wars and rumors of wars, the groaning of creation itself. The stage is being set for the final act of this age. I am not telling you this to cause you fear, but to impart a holy and sober urgency. Because the time is short. This is not a time for spiritual slumber. One of the enemy's most effective strategies in this final hour is to make my own children drowsy, to lull them to sleep with the drug of distraction, endless entertainment, trivial pursuits, political outrage, and the relentless quest for personal comfort. He wants you spiritually asleep, unaware of the lateness of the hour. Today I am sounding an alarm in your spirit. It is time to awaken. It is time for sober watchfulness. I want you to begin to live each day as if it could be the day I call you home, or the day I return for my church. Think about that. How would you live differently today if you knew with certainty that it was your last? Would you waste these precious hours on a petty argument? Would you squander them on mindless scrolling through your phone? Would you allow your heart to be consumed with anxious worry about tomorrow? Or would you fill these final hours with intentional love, with heartfelt forgiveness, with bold sharing of my truth, with fervent worship? You must do the work of the kingdom while it is still day, for the night is coming when no one can work. Do not be like the 5 foolish virgins in the parable I told. They heard that the bridegroom was coming. They knew he was near, but they were unprepared. Their lamps were empty of oil. You must keep your spiritual lamp filled with the oil of my spirit and burning brightly. My return will be swift and unexpected, like a thief in the night. It is not your job to know the day or the hour. It is your job to be ready. Wake up, my beloved. Be ready. Since you now understand that the hour is late and you must be watchful, the natural question of your heart is, how? How then should I prepare for your coming? This is the right question, and I want to give you a clear and simple answer. Preparing your heart is not a complex, mystical process. It is a series of practical, daily choices. First, you must keep your spiritual lamp filled with the oil of my spirit. A lamp without oil is just a piece of clay, useless in the darkness. Oil is not a one-time purchase. It must be continually supplied. This is not a passive act. It means you must engage in daily, intentional communion with me. It is the conscious choice to spend time in prayer when 1,000 other distractions are screaming for your attention. It is the decision to nourish your soul with my word instead of filling your mind with the noise and chatter of the world. It is a constant, moment-by-moment yielding to the guidance of my spirit. You cannot run on yesterday's oil. You need a fresh supply for today. The next, and this is critically urgent, you must settle all accounts. I want you to examine your heart right now. Is there anyone you are holding unforgiveness against? Is there a bitterness you are nursing, a grudge you are feeding? You must release it. Now, forgive that person who wounded you so deeply. Release them from the debt you feel they owe you, for I have released you from an infinitely greater debt. Go and seek reconciliation wherever it is possible. Do not let pride stand in your way. I do not want to return and find my children at war with one another. I want to find a family walking in peace. And as you settle your accounts with others, you must also settle them with me. Purify yourself from everything that contaminates your body and your spirit. You know what these things are. I do not need to name them, for my spirit is already whispering them to your conscience. The secret habit, the impure thoughts you entertain, the love of money that competes for my throne in your heart, the subtle idols of comfort and approval. Bring them into my light now. Confess them without excuse, and let my grace wash you completely clean. Your preparation should not be fueled by a dreadful fear of being caught unprepared, but by the eager and joyful expectation of seeing me face to face. You should be like a bride, joyfully preparing herself, not out of fear, but out of a deep and passionate longing for her beloved groom. And while you wait, you are to faithfully manage everything I have entrusted to you. Occupy until I come. Be actively engaged in my business, so that when I arrive, I find you hard at work for my kingdom. My child, as you wait with this prepared and eager heart, I want to distill everything down to my final, most critical instructions for this season. The world is complex, and the challenges will be many, but if you hold fast to these things, you will not lose your way. If you hear nothing else, hear this. First, and above all else, love one another deeply, from a pure heart. This is not a suggestion. It is the royal command. The watching world will know that you are my disciples not by the size of your churches, not by the perfection of your theology, not by your political power, but by your supernatural, observable love for each other. This love must be practical, not just a feeling. It bears patiently with the faults of others. It is quick to forgive, refusing to keep a record of wrongs. It prefers others above itself, looking out for their interests. It is a love that covers a multitude of sins, choosing grace over judgment. In a world that is tearing itself apart with hatred and division, your radical love for one another will be the most powerful testimony you have. Second, because you are loving one another, you must strive to be united in spirit and purpose. The enemy's great strategy in these last days is to sow division among my people. He will use offenses, doctrinal arguments, political disagreements, and petty personal preferences to slice my body into 1,000 fractured pieces. You must not fall for this scheme. A divided house cannot stand against the onslaught of darkness. Fight for unity with the same passion you fight for truth. Next, you must pray without ceasing. Prayer is not a religious duty you check off a list. It is the vital lifeline of our relationship. It is the very air your spirit breathes. In a world that is growing progressively darker and more chaotic, you must stay in constant, open communication with your commander. Then, you must go and make disciples. Do not be a stagnant pond of my blessing. Be a flowing river. Your faith was never intended to terminate with you. It is meant to be given away. Show others what it means to follow me, and teach them to obey everything I have commanded you. Stand firm in the freedom I have purchased for you, and do not be burdened again by a yoke of slavery, whether to sin or to religious legalism. And finally, encourage one another daily. As long as it is called today, speak life, hope, and strength into your brothers and sisters, so that none of you may be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. These are your orders. Now carry them out. You have listened well, my beloved. You have heard my heart. You have received my urgent warnings and my final instructions. Now, before we close this sacred time of conversation, I want to release over you a blessing, an impartation of my own divine nature to strengthen and equip you for the journey ahead. Do not just hear these words with your mind. Open your spirit and receive them now as a tangible gift from your Father. I give you a peace that the world cannot give. The world's peace is shallow. It is merely the absence of conflict. My peace is the deep, abiding presence of my sovereignty in the very middle of the conflict. It is not the absence of the storm, but my presence with you in the boat. Let this supernatural peace stand guard over your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. When the winds of anxiety begin to howl, when the waves of fear threaten to overwhelm you, answer the door of your heart with my peace, and it will silence the storm. And with this peace, I bless you with a spirit of divine courage to face the days ahead without fear. You will face opposition. Your motives will be misunderstood. Your faith may be mocked. But I have not given you a spirit of timidity or cowardice. I impart to you now the spiritual strength to stand firm in my truth, even if you have to stand alone. I give you the boldness to speak when I call you to speak, and the wisdom to walk in my grace. May my face, the very light of my being, shine upon you and be gracious to you. May I turn my face toward you, giving you my full attention and favor, and grant you wholeness and well-being in every area of your life. Feel my favor resting upon you as a warm garment. You are not rejected. You are wholly accepted in the Beloved. You are not cursed. You are blessed beyond measure. May you be rooted and established in my love, so that you may have the power to grasp, with all my saints, the immeasurable dimensions of my love for you, a love that is wider than your greatest sin, longer than your deepest sorrow, higher than your loftiest hope, and deeper than your darkest wound. A love that surpasses all human knowledge. May you be filled, at this very moment, to the measure of all the fullness of God. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace, now and forevermore. My child, our time of this intense, focused conversation is now drawing to a close. But you must understand with all your heart, this is not the end. This is a new beginning. I have not called you into this quiet place to simply give you information and send you on your way. I have called you here to issue an invitation, a commissioning into a deeper, more abiding way of life with me. The single most important thing I have said to you, the thread that ties all these other truths together, is this: abide in me, and I will abide in you. A branch cannot bear the fruit of love, joy, peace, or holiness by itself, by its own striving, once it is disconnected from the vine. In the same way, apart from me, you can do nothing of eternal value. Do not leave this conversation and fall into the trap of trying to accomplish my will in your own strength. You will fail, and you will grow weary. You must remain connected to me, your vine, the source of all life and power. I am asking you to carry these words I have spoken to you not as a heavy burden, but as precious seeds in your heart. Do not let the cares of the world or the lies of the enemy snatch them away. Meditate on them. Revisit this conversation often. Let these truths marinate in your spirit until they fundamentally transform you from the inside out, changing not just what you do, but who you are. I have told you all these things for one ultimate reason, so that my joy, the very joy of heaven, may be in you, and that your joy may be complete and overflowing. My will for you is not a life of grim, joyless, religious duty. It is a life of deep, resilient, unshakable joy that can be found only in constant communion with me. So now, walk forward from this moment. Walk in the absolute confidence of my unwavering love for you. Walk in the sober urgency of my call upon your life. You are loved. You are secure. You are forgiven. You are empowered. You are prepared. And you are needed. And now, my most urgent and final plea, the one that sums up everything we have discussed, the whisper I want you to carry with you into every moment of every day from now on. Stay with me. When you wake up in the chaos of tomorrow morning, your first thought must be, I will stay with you. When the pressures of the day begin to mount and you feel your peace slipping, you must choose, I will stay with you. When you are tempted, when you are weary, when you are celebrating, when you are grieving my beloved child, my precious one, just stay with me. You have heard my final, most urgent plea to all my children. Stay with me. If that command now echoes in your spirit, and you desire for multitudes of others to hear this same life-altering call, know that your support sends out the rescue line. Your giving becomes spiritual manna in the wilderness for those starving for truth, the very bread of life that will sustain them and call them home. I now declare over you my unchangeable principle, give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over, will be poured into your lap. This is a critical hour of decision for many souls. Your obedience now can tip the scales for eternity. I will honor your sacrifice and release over your household a blessing of purpose that cannot be bought. Obey the stirring of my spirit. Give generously now through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link, and dispatch my urgent message to a world in desperate need. My child, our conversation was a divine appointment for this urgent hour, a sacred space carved out of eternity just for you. Do not let this moment fade back into the noise of your life. As a seal upon your heart and a testimony before heaven and earth, make your declaration now. Write with your own hand, I heard the call, and I will stay. Your words are more than a comment. They are an anchor of faith cast into this moment, a flag of allegiance planted in holy ground. I will see your name, and my heart will rejoice over your decision to remain with me. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel.